So stand by. Here we go.
Big news. I have some important news for you.
Interesting news.
It's Blake and Aaron's Spilling the Tea with Sandy.
K-Man's top news headlines of the day from CMR.
Good morning, Sandy. Happy Monday.
Hi, good morning, guys. Happy Monday.
It's your big debut on BOBO 89.1 coming up in just about 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'm excited.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, what do you got first for headlines on a Monday?
Okay, so Cabinet had their first ever Cabinet meeting in Little Cayman. This is a historical moment for the Cayman Islands government. So they did this, last weekend. They actually went to the BRAC and Little Cayman for the Heroes Day. So they thought, why not just jump over to Little Cayman and have 3 days of meetings and engagements with the Little Cayman community.
I will say I saw a lot of government people there when I was there last weekend. So that makes sense now. There we go.
So the governor, premier, deputy premier, the Honorable Franz Manderson, ministers, the attorney general, and parliamentary secretaries were all there. And it was a momentous occasion. So the smallest of our islands definitely felt very much included.
Great.
All right.
That's awesome.
So Brevin Elliott, a bit of an exclusive this morning. You'll hear this nowhere else yet. Brevin Elliott, who is a deputy in the Cayman Islands Fire Service, is actually going to be possibly seconded, but I'm hearing it might be a long-term appointment over at the Cayman Islands Port Authority. So as you know, the Port Authority still has no permanent director, no deputy director, and several other positions are vacant on a permanent basis. So he will go over there as acting director of the port. So we'll see how that goes for him. So congratulations to Brevin Elliott.
Yeah. I mean, do you have a story on the port that you're working on?
Yeah. Well, we put it up yesterday.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Part of the story.
Oh,
part of it, no doubt.
Go check it out at CMR.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep. So a man assaulted his brother yesterday. Actually, yesterday was Sunday. On Saturday, in a very violent assault. And yes, he cut his brother's face and arrested him. And so I'm sure we'll hear a little bit more about that from official police press release a bit later on today. So he's
That's not nice.
No, it's not nice at all.
No, there's also that thing in spots that the runner and the people and that kicked the person on camera. Like, what was going on with that?
Yeah, so that was last week's news, Aaron. You got to keep up now.
No, I know, but yeah. Well, I just saw it for the first time.
3 girls on the beach, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy got arrested, didn't he?
Yeah. He got arrested.
Ooh.
And he is facing several charges potentially. But at this stage, he has been arrested as the police continue their investigation. But yeah, it was shocking to say the least.
Totally. Yeah. What's going on with all these assaults? Will Smith, Chris Rock. I mean, come on, people.
That was classic last night. Congratulations to UCCI. They have received a grant from, let me just get right. So they have received a grant from Res MBID, which is, they had a big to do on Friday. Basically almost $500,000 over $400,000 CI for a program to help train students with trades that are in the sustainability, both environmentally and economic section. So congratulations to them. This is a big deal, apparently, to get a grant from this institution.
Nice. That's
Very
great.
cool. Yeah.
Yep. And finally, congratulations to Caitlin Frederick Westerberg. Caitlin is off to the UK. And she's going to be working in the UK office there, making us all proud. Her accomplishments come just after being on the job here in the Cayman Islands with the Cayman Islands government for only 8 months. So well done, Caitlin.
Awesome.
She is going to be the communications executive coordinator for the Cayman Islands government office in the UK. So
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yes, good stuff for Caitlin.
Mm-hmm.
So those are some of your news headlines today.
All right.
Well, good luck on your journey on the radio.
Future endeavors? No.
Beginning in 5 minutes on BOBO 89.1. We're excited to launch that radio station this morning as well.
Absolutely.
With 24-hour news and information, and Sandy Hill from CMR from 7:30 to 9:30. So
Yeah.
So that'll be pretty cool. All right, we'll catch you tomorrow right here on the show.
Thank you.
All right. Good luck. Bye.
All right, our segment with CMR brought to you exclusively on Blake and Aaron by Doctors.
All right, folks. So we're going to get it. Who's with me? Rise and shine. So, okay, let me tell you what we have to do every morning. So things are going to change up a little bit. First of all, the phone is plugged in. So we're going to start taking calls here. I want you guys to call in. We're going to have a little party. And then actually, we have a special guest coming on at about 8 o'clock. Let me just message him. Good morning. So basically what we do is at 7:30 sharp. Oh, let me open up my clock. I've got to be very, very precise because radio does not allow for any errors, basically. So let me just make sure that this is picking up my microphone. Yes, so we gotta be precise. I'm just checking all settings now. Audio. So we've got those speakers there for output. We have those speakers there for input. And this should also be, I should see this gauge working on this. All right, let me just double check something here. So exactly at 7:30, we have to go live. So we're going to be precise. We got to be precise. All right, so good morning. I do need to adjust my camera, which is just a little bit off. Good morning, everybody. What's up? Hey, Barbara. Hey, Wee Wee. Hey, Virtuous. Give me 1 second. I'm actually going to turn on the light behind me. And then we got 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Yeah. We're going to be live on the radio. And then you guys get to see the new intro this morning. So we got less than a minute. It's 7:29 in 4 seconds. Here we go. Okay. Okay, give me 1 second, folks.
Peppermint, sorrel, ginger, beaver grass, or English. Get it ready. Your morning tea just got hotter.
Honey child.
on the cold, hard truth. Bobo 89.1 and Cayman's #1 talk show are bringing you morning talk like no one else. Monday Rewind, Impact Wednesdays, Caribbean Connections, and much more. Don't miss a beat with what's happening in the local community. Just keep sipping your tea.
What a mess.
Here's your host, live and direct from the Cayman Islands, Sandy Hill.
Good morning, everyone. So we are super excited because it is now official, folks. We are an 89.1 FM. That is Bobo. So if you're driving in your car, please message your friends. Tell them to go ahead and log in right now. You've got more options to be able to catch us right here on the Cold Hard Truth. So this is our inaugural debut. So let's get it, folks. Super, super happy. Everything looks good from what I'm being told. Of course, I can't technically listen to the radio at the same time, but do let me know if you're listening to the radio, how things are going. And feel free to call in. I'm going to send everybody. So we've got our WhatsApp notifications going out now. So folks, you always have the option to be part of the WhatsApp news group. Just send us a WhatsApp message to 324-1612, and then we are happy to take your calls. So as usual, we have good manners here on CMR. We want to wish everyone a very, very good morning. We've got our usual folks on Facebook and YouTube. So we've got Virtuous, Marshall, Rhonda's here. Good morning. Rita is joining us. Buenos dias. We have Diamond Princess Sapphire, who's got it locked. She says, blessed morning to y'all. Wee. Good morning, Barbara, Marcel. Yes, we're going to talk about some of that here in a second. Olivia and Omeria, pleasant good morning. Stephen joining us from the UK. Good morning, Stephen. We've got Irvin and Felicia also got it locked. Siobhan. Dana, lots of people logged on, almost 200 people already, and I'm sure tons are now listening through the radio. Gabby, Ingrid, Everton, Luis, good morning. Big shout out to Luis. I saw him on Friday night. Talk a little bit about that this morning as well. Miss Joy says all the best for your new venture. Morning, Larry. So folks, as you know, you can call in on the program. I would love for you guys to call in. 936-2626 is the number. So do feel free to give us a jingle on the regular phone. Good morning, Miss Sue. She says it's Bobo time. Marshall likes the new intros. Of course, you guys know we had to do something different for today's special launch. Thank you, Miss Moya. She says, congratulations on this new accomplishment. Wanda, Everton, Larry, everybody's here. Jasmine, thank you. Hi, Henry. Good morning, Bobo. Yes, good morning, TD. Morning, Jackie, Josephine, Dale. So listen, we've got a special guest that's coming on for 8 o'clock-ish. And hopefully we will have them on without any issues. So Denise says she's listening on the radio and it's coming in loud and clear. Ooh, look, we've got our first ever caller on Bobo 89.1 on the Cold Hard Truth. So good morning, caller.
Morning, Sandy. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm excellent. I just want to say congratulations.
I feel like you should win a prize for being caller number 1.
Well, I just want to say congratulations. I understand the hard work that you put into getting to this point. And it's there needs to be a place for the public to have conversation. Unfortunately, the previous government was sort of successful in shutting down the other talk show. And I think that's a tragedy. The world is moving in a dangerous direction one that's either going to be settled peacefully or with bloodshed. And because there are some in the world that's moving us towards slavery and absolute control, total destruction of rights, including privacy. And that's not going to have a good outcome. The prince and princess traveling around the Caribbean dancing with the natives is, I think, disgraceful. I think Caymanians need to wake up about the relationship with the monarch and what it really represents. And the fact that the prince was unwilling to say I'm sorry tells me that he's not sorry. And I know there are people who will say, oh, well, he didn't do it, but actually he's defending the action by not saying, not putting the pressure on for there to be an apology. And
did he not apologize, Denny?
No. He said it shouldn't have happened, but that's not the same as saying, like, if you say I'm sorry for it, that's different. Like, you know how, like, people sometimes when they do an apology, they say, I would like to apologize to you. That's not an apology. Okay. Right? You have to say, I'm sorry for what happened. Okay. That's an apology.
Yeah. No, I thought he said that. I thought he took some responsibility and said
he said it shouldn't have happened. But that's as far as he went. And and on that note, actually, I think what needs to happen is that there needs to be a focus on the education system regarding comprehension, because what the British and others who manipulate us do really well is language. And we need to up our game if we want to play in their ballpark.
All right. Well, Danny, we're going to keep it a little bit light today. I know you're ready to dive into some serious issues, but since this is our inaugural show, at least until 8 o'clock, we're going to
That is my light version.
That is your light version. Oh my goodness, Danny's come with all guns blazing. Oh,
but I just wanted to just say that it's great to have your show on the air.
Thank you so much.
And there will be controversy, but that's what the discussion is about, because people have to understand that if there isn't a place where people can sit and talk and rationalize issues, then they're going to fight about it. And the question is, do you want them to talk or do you want them to fight?
Right. All right. Well, let's start with talking. That's what we're all about here.
All right. Take care.
Thanks, Denny. All right, folks. 936-2626 is the number to call in. Good morning to Jean. Jean says, congratulations. Carol has got it locked. Carol says, Germans don't apologize for the Nazis. We need to move on. So Carol says, maybe expecting an apology isn't something that's realistic. We do have another caller who's joining us. Good morning, caller. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, Miss Sandy.
Hello.
And good morning, Cayman. Hey. What a beautiful day. Sandra, I just want to say, you've come a long way from when you started, and it is absolutely wonderful to have another radio show, because I remember I used to listen to Woody religiously, and I have been listening to you religiously on YouTube, and I want to say congratulations. And this is something that Cayman really, really need. And I know I'm going to be honest with you. Someone said to me yesterday, they say, oh my God, everybody's afraid of Sandra because They don't want to do anything wrong and let Sandra get a hold of it. I said to them, I say, that is a good thing, because you know what? A lot of good things, they will try to start doing the right thing and not the wrong thing, because they know if they do wrong things, it's going to come out. So, I mean, totally agree. When someone do wrong, yes. Sometimes we try to defend our loved ones, but at the same time, they do wrong, it's wrong. Wrong is wrong and right is right.
That's right.
And this morning,
we have to apply those principles without fear or favor, and I think
yes.
that's really important.
Exactly. And this morning, like I say, I'm congratulating you, and I am so happy because I go to work and I don't get a chance to read Compass or read Times or the paper like that. My time is I can put in my earbuds and I have my radio on my desk, and I can listen to whatever news on the radio, or I can plug into YouTube or whatever. And I am really, really grateful and thankful for this platform, and to have someone like you that stands firm for what you know is right.
Thank you.
Congratulations, and have a wonderful and blessed day.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
You're very welcome.
Have a good day.
You too, my dear. Bye-bye.
Right, bye-bye. All right, folks. So we've got Miss Alba says, Buenos dias, Sandy. ¿Cómo estás? Yo estoy bien. Muy bien, muy bien. We got Sue. Says, totally agree with what you're saying. So Denny has already kicked off our first serious discussion of the morning, and people are definitely weighing in. Good morning to Jake, who's joining us. So El Ray says, we can't change the past. We just have to be aware of it and move on. Interesting. El Ray also says the cold hard truth, the hot tea official radio day brew. Ooh, I like that one. I like that one, because we have got the hot tea here brewing, folks. Dawn is saying that we need some new merchandise. Can't wait for the BOBO t-shirts. Oh yeah, we can get so creative with BOBO t-shirts and the cold hard truth. I love it, Dawn. And as you guys know, if you're new to the program, you may not know this, but this is actually going to be CMR's 5th year coming up in June that we're going to be celebrating. So the party is going to go right from March all the way through. So we definitely have a lot, folks, that we're going to be discussing. Good morning, Miss Jean. So what do you guys think about this? Danny brought up a very interesting discussion, and this has definitely got me thinking. Do you apologize for something that you didn't actually do? It's interesting. I mean, I feel like if you are the monarch of a country and you're representing, or the president of a country and you're representing that country, that if you've never said it before, that at some point, you do make some sort of an apology. Denny wasn't happy with the apology. I thought it was as close as you're going to get. Maybe he's right. Maybe they're playing semantics a little bit, but it's the best that they've ever said. And I think that on the other hand, El Rey has some point that at some point in our lives, we all have to move on. There'll be people who will make us unhappy. There'll be people who will hurt us. And if we are not, what's that saying, that you don't forgive for yourself? You don't forgive for the other person. My apologies. You forgive for yourself, because in order for you to be able to oftentimes move past a transgression, the truth of the matter is you have to be willing to let it go and forgive the person. Now, forgiving and letting it go doesn't necessarily mean that you're forgetting about it, because that would be foolish, because oftentimes if you take that position of forgetting about it, what you have happening is the person comes back and does the exact same thing and you accept it. And we certainly don't want that type of thing happening, right? So I do think that there are times, folks, when you've got to say, you know what, you've come as close as you can come to an apology. Let's move on and try to do better. Listen, historically, there has been a lot that has happened between countries and their colonies, and 95% of it wasn't good. I think that there's been a lot that has been done in more recent times that is positive, and we have to now try to focus on the positive without forgetting the lessons of the past. I know that that's where Denny is coming from, because if we forget the lessons of the past, then we are bound to repeat them, even in terms of our relationship with our mother country. So there you go. So Damien says the Russian civilians don't need to apologize for Putin or be punished. Yeah, I mean, that's a current situation. So that's not way in the past. That's not something that anybody has moved through. That is something that is currently happening now. So there has to be, for your current actions, of course, there has to be some degree of accountability, right? Thank you, Jay. Good morning to Sherry. Andrew's here. So folks, again, the lines are hot. The not only are the phone lines hot, but the social media comments are hot as well. Good morning. Andrew says there seems to be a technical issue with callers, can only hear the caller, not you. You know what I'm thinking may have happened? So after the show, I'm going to revisit these settings, because over the weekend, we did make some settings to the board that is meant to impact background sound. And I think that when the caller is speaking, it's actually inadvertently thinking I'm a background noise and muting me. So I think we may have to go back to the drawing board and maybe put those settings back. That's just me, non-tech person here, thinking that that's what's going on. So let me just, so that's something in the technical world called noise gain, I think is what it is called. Yeah, because we certainly didn't have the issue last week when we were taking calls. So, all right, we will work on that. Just a couple buttons that we can play with. And yes, thank you. So our special guest is here in the studio. So we're going to jump them on here in just a second. Good morning to Nikki. They're a little bit early. Larry says, Bobo, coffee mugs. Yes. Nikki says, good morning, CMR Nation. Everton says, I don't think it's right to blame the prince and the princess for something that they don't have that they didn't have, I think, absolutely anything to do with. And I think people should move on and stop going back in the past. Carol wants to know, has America ever apologized to anyone? Wow. You're already hot this morning. So yeah, this concept of nations apologizing, I think when they take steps to rectify the wrongs of, what has been done, including legal steps, abolishing slavery and that sort of thing. I think that those things are important ways of, instead of just apologizing, actually taking corrective action and fixing it with their actions. Because listen, sometimes it's actually really easy to apologize because it is just words. What is more significant, folks, is when your actions, which as we know, actions speak louder than words, Aunt Lottie's words of wisdom, you've got to show it through your actions that you are indeed taking a different and new path and you are apologetic. I go to court all the time and I see people stand up before the judges and they apologize and they use words about how sorry they are. But by the third or fourth time that you show up in court for the same sort of offense, the magistrate and judges start to look at you and go, listen, you're before me again. I'm not really going to believe you this time. Even sometimes in a first offense, they're like, I don't know if I believe you, because what you did was so egregious that your apology is noted, but it will have no impact on the outcome of the matter. It'll have no impact on your sentencing. I've seen that numerous times. I think it's good to admit if you've done something wrong early on and take responsibility for it. But, it really comes down to the actions that you take after that. Morning, Stacy. So Stacy has been really busy since coming on our program over a week ago. And we were so happy to assist Stacy recovering over $2,300 of her hard-earned money. And we now have another case that we're on, which is a case of the Filipino mix-up. $2,800 has been taken from a young lady. And, I cannot imagine working so hard for your money and then have someone take it as though it belongs to them. It's called stealing. It's a theft. And, the actions normally of the people who do it are just so egregious. They just completely have no moral compass. So we have another case that we're going to be on here shortly, and I'll be giving you guys all the intricate details of that. Jared is joining us. Good morning, Jared. Welcome to the Cold Hard Truth.
Morning, Miss Sandy. How are you? I had to be one of the little young ones to call and say congratulations on the radio show.
Thank you.
It's upward and onward. And so,
Yes.
congrats, right?
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, bye-bye.
That's it. Jared was a man of few words this morning. Well, thank you. Good morning to Irma. Good morning to Scott. We've got lots of people. Adrian has got it locked. We have lots of people who are listening and silently watching. So, yes, Carolina Ferreira, good morning. She says, responding to Everton, she says, no one is blaming them. The British monarch amassed a tremendous amount of wealth and power from the slave trade, which they still benefit from to this day. Similarly, people of color in general, and Black people in particular, are still suffering from the systemic racism created from them. And until there is real equity and equality, there is no moving on. Well, there you have it. I think Carolina said it well. Scott, good morning. How are you? Thank you so much. Scott says, welcome to the world of radio. So later on in the week, we're going to have some very, very interesting news about the Cold Hard Truth. Obviously, this is our first day on radio, but you're going to be surprised to find out a little tidbit about the world of radio and especially talk show in the Cayman Islands. So I'm not in a position to tell you guys it's the hot tea in that one yet, but soon come. Marshall says that he agrees that actions speak louder than words. So someone apologizes and then continues to do wrong. An apology means nothing. And we do have another caller who's joining us. Good morning, caller. Good morning.
Morning, Sandra. It's Shannon. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks. How are you?
I'm okay. Thanks. First of all, congratulations for the radio station. It's
Well
needed.
Thank you.
I just want to raise something real quick about these truck drivers and the road bullying and the overloaded trucks. And why has the government not done anything about implementing time windows where these trucks can't be on the road? They're just making the traffic worse. And then they want to run cars over or push cars off the road. And then, their trucks are overloaded and they one good bump and they've got everything dumping on cars.
Yes. It's a good question for sure.
I mean, I know everybody's got to eat, but for love of God, we have enough issues with traffic, and I spend most of my time cursing in the morning because these trucks are trying to run you off the road.
Right. Wow. Well, we definitely don't want you cursing. So
no, no, but I don't know how many license plates of truck drivers, my dash cam catches the footage. I take pictures, I send them to RCIPS, but the question is, are they actually doing anything about it?
Yeah. Well, it's a good question, and we're going to try to see if we can find out.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Well, you have an amazing day.
Thank you so much. So,
all right, friends.
All right, hon.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Yes, we definitely don't want her cursing, just like we try not to curse too much here. But some days certain things just really, really frustrate you. So I can hear that I'm making some, as you guys can see, I'm trying to make some adjustments on the fly. So let me know if that particular call was any better. But yes, I think the caller makes a valid point. I don't know how realistic it is to tell people that they can't drive during certain hours, but it's almost common sense. You would think that they would know better. That they would be like, oh yeah, let me just, figure it out on my own. But you can't listen. At the end of the day, I think that the truth is there's certain things that you can't expect other people to do on their own. Right. And that's why we've got laws, because if you left it up to the good common sense of the community, sometimes that simply just does not work. Interesting. Well, we'll see what the government is thinking. on the one hand, we don't want them micromanaging every aspect of our lives. But when it comes to road safety, this is an ongoing and really, really important component of our lives. Our roads are not safe, folks. I mean, did you guys see the accidents this weekend? Oh my God. It started out with Friday afternoon. I don't know if you guys saw this post or not, but there was a lady who was driving drunk in the vicinity of, where was that? Northward. And I know she was drunk because initially I didn't know. And I thought, I see the police giving her a breathalyzer, which was quite interesting. And they don't normally, I don't think they just randomly give every single person who's in an accident a breathalyzer. So that was the first hint that something was amiss. But more importantly, what I saw after that was the fact that, we were getting phone calls with people saying, girl, Sandy, this woman was literally pouring out the alcohol out of her, it's like an SUV. And I thought, are you kidding me? And no, they were not kidding. One lady, she was actually afraid to share it for her. She said, Sandy, I recorded her doing it. And I said, what? She said, yeah. She was, before the police got on the scene, she was there dumping all the liquor that she had in the car, which to me is just absolutely shocking. Who does that in the middle of the afternoon, like 4 o'clock in the afternoon? There were still school buses on the roads because when we got the video, we saw school buses driving by, trying to get our children safely back home. And look at this lady. She is out having a good time way before happy hour. I guess her philosophy was it's 5 o'clock somewhere. But folks, don't drink and drive. Like, these things, again, seem to be common sense. Here's the vehicle. Do you guys remember this from Friday? Look at this, all smashed up. She hit the wall. Thankfully, she didn't hit anybody else. But this, again, could have been deadly. The roads were wet, as you see here. They were already wet. And yeah, she just ran into the wall and, she was able to walk away from this relatively unscathed. So the police gave her a breathalyzer test. And they also, have arrested her in suspicion of. Crazy. So yeah, I mean, we expect people to do the right thing, but they don't always do it. Good morning, Miss Emma. She says I can hear you better in that call. Yes, I've made some adjustments. In fact, what I've done for now is I've actually turned that particular setting off. Lavana, good morning. She says, I'm listening as usual in the kitchen. Lavana is always there cooking. Thank you so much for tuning in. Gigi says, no cursing, laughing out loud, because yes, we might have all sorts of people listening that don't want to hear that. So common sense is not so common, says Marshall. John says, on my radio, 89.1 FM is a different station. What do you mean it's a different station? Are you sure you're not at the next frequency over? So 89.1 is BOBO, and you should be hearing me right now. So Carmelie, good morning. Damien says, just get over the Holocaust. Also move on. The Native Indians have with 100 million of them killed. Well, to that point, Damien, and then we're going to welcome our guests in the studio. I think that, again, some corrective steps have been made to put the Native Indians supposedly back where they were. But, I think when certain atrocities have been committed, there's never, they can honestly never be undone. And, as much as you want to do, I guess the truth of the matter is there will always be remnants of that we have to live with. And we have to, every single day, we just have to get up and make a conscious effort to try to do better. Because if you know better, then you have an obligation to do better. And really, that is the key. So Miss Charlene is joining us from West Bay. Miss Charlene says, good morning, everyone. And to her host, congratulations on your new media venture. So happy for you. Thank you, Richard, as well. Richard says, got you loud and clear in my car. Morning, Benji. Joining us on YouTube. So we've got YouTube, Facebook with over 265 people. And then who knows how many are listening on the radio. Okay, so I told you guys a couple weeks ago that we had a special guest that was going to be joining us. And we actually did a competition and you guys were guessing, except no one actually guessed who it was. I was a little bit surprised. I must say that I thought that maybe you guys would have been able to do this, but nobody guessed it. And so today is the day that our special guest is on. He hit number one, did promise us that he'd be joining us for our inaugural radio debut. So should I give you guys one more little guess? I've just given you a hint. I've narrowed it down. You guys are all over the map in terms of who you thought it was. I've got a gift certificate here, folks, for your choice, Popeyes or Burger King, if you can guess who our special guest is. So we now know that the person is a male. And let me see if I can give you one more hint without making it too easy. We can't make it too easy. Is it Woody? No, sorry, it's not Woody. Morning, Lily. Thank you, Aquaman. Jared thinks it's the premiere. Well, the premiere is special, but you know, he comes on the show all the time. So no, this person, here's another hint. This person has never been on the show before. So Sydney thinks it's Don Seymour. No, Don is so shy. He's a behind the scenes person. I don't think I'd ever be able to get him to come on air. So nope, it's not Don. Morning, Charm. Kevin, which Kevin? Damien's on the money. Damien says Will Smith. Yes, it's Will Smith. No, it's not Will Smith. Speaking of Will Smith, OMG. Seriously? What happened last night, y'all? That was crazy. Oh my God. I wasn't watching the Oscars, by the way. But as soon as it happened, my phone started blowing up, like really blowing up. Did you see this? Like people weren't even sure if it was real. They were like, I think maybe they were joking. And I looked at it. I looked at the video and I said, you know what? You know how I know they're not joking? Because even when Will Smith was laughing, his wife, you can always look at women normally and tell they're not messing around with you, right? His wife, the expression on her face, because she was the butt of the joke. The expression on her face was like, oh, you just didn't go there. And so no, we'll talk about that later on, but it's not Will. It's not Austin. Chris Saunders, well, he's never been on the show, but it's not him. The governor hasn't been on the morning show, but we have interviewed him before. Alden. Richard. No, Sir Alden is busy doing other things. Nope, not Mr. McKeeva Bush. Good morning, Tracy. Chris Rock says El Rey. Bernie Bush. No. You guys are so funny talking about Chris Rock. So a lot of people are guessing Chris Saunders. Chris Saunders seems to be the most popular. You know what? I'm going to send this to Chris. I'm going to be like, Chris, listen, the people are demanding you come on. But it isn't Chris Saunders either. Wow, this is a tough one as it turns out. I thought you guys would have had this really quickly, but no. Can I give you another hint? Oh man, I don't want to make it too easy, but okay. Let's narrow it down. Oh, hold on. Stop the presses. Moya actually got it. She said the deputy governor. Woohoo! Hold on, let me get my little applause button going here. Yes, Moya. Let me see. Applause. Moya got the correct answer. Deputy governor. So Moya, let me know. Would you rather have Burger King or Popeyes for lunch? Wonderful gift certificate. Yes, Moya, it is none other than, we'll bring him in the studio now, Mr. France Manderson.
Good morning.
It took, that was tough, France. I mean, everybody was like,
well done, Moya.
Yes, they were all over the map.
And I can't believe my good friend Shadden didn't put me forward. And I do want to tell her that we have been listening to her complaints about traffic in the Eastern Districts. And if over the next day or two, the police is going to have a major announcement as to how some things that they're doing to improve up there. So stay tuned.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Shadden, you got a little something special coming.
Yes.
So wonderful. Thank you so much for that pre-announcement.
Yes.
So first of all, let us welcome you to the Cold Hard Truth. This is your first time on this program, but you know, I was actually reminiscing the other day, France, if I may call you that.
Sure.
with our sort of history, we go way back. We actually went to law school together.
That's right.
You know, we were hustling back in the day, going
That's
through
right.
studying those law books and stuff. I got to know France a little bit in both his immigration capacity of head of the immigration department at the time, and then he eventually moved on to his current position as deputy governor. But France actually came on my other show that I used to have, which was the Straight Talk show back in the day, and he was actually at the time our number one guest. And we had a lot of guests coming on, but he got the most phone calls. The calls are blowing up. People always had a ton of questions for him. So we want to welcome you back. But of course, now there's a whole new show and a whole new ball game.
Congratulations, by the way. Yes, congratulations on this major achievement. Thank you. We're all very proud. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So Tracy went all out and she pulled out Kenneth Dart out of the hat. Again, I don't think that he'd be coming on. You know, he's another person that's very much shy and behind the scenes. Yeah. I think he enjoys remaining as anonymous as possible, walk down the street, and nobody even knows that, hey, that's actually Kenneth Dart.
That's right.
So yes, thank you guys so much. Some other good guesses here. Sabrina Turner, well, she's been on. Sydney said, my husband. Nope, he's another person that's behind the scenes. He doesn't like the limelight either. So definitely not him. Sabrina's being cheeky. She says, is it Mario? Oh, you guys are so funny. And look, Alexandra eventually guessed France Manderson as well. Yes, it is France Manderson, folks.
Good morning,
so beautiful. So Moya wants me to donate her gift certificate, to one of her Caymanians in need. Well, thank you, Moya. And I think I can find some kids who would love to have this. Yes. Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate it. So, Mr. Manderson, thank you. So tell us, let's talk a little bit about, since we were walking down memory lane here, how you've gotten to where you are.
Yes, thank you. And again, good morning to everyone. And Sandra, thanks again for having me on. And you were so right. I did really enjoy coming on to your show when you were doing the radio before. So I promise to be back, and I promise to be a regular guest. But yes, so on February of this year, I celebrated 10 years as deputy governor. So it has been a long road for me. And on July 7th, my birthday this year, it would be 40 years for me in the civil service.
Wow.
So a tremendous long career within the civil service. But looking back, I at age 15, I was not sure what I wanted to do. I was graduating from school the next year at John Gray. And I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was working in my uncle's cabinet shop in the summers, making cabinets. I was pretty sure that I didn't want to do that for my career, although I did enjoy it and learned a lot. It helps me today. But I thought, I would become a member of one of the uniformed services, possibly police, but I wasn't sure. And we had a careers day at John Gray, and immigration officer came and dressed in the uniform, and I was immediately attracted to the uniform and the stories that the person was telling us in terms of what the immigration department did. So I said, you know what, I would like to maybe give that a try. And my mother said to me, Fran, that's a great idea. Immigration is right across the street from the glass house where I work, so I can drop you to work in the morning. So I applied for an internship at age 15, and I was granted an internship, and I went in and I worked for the summer. Didn't really like what I was doing. I was filing cards, but that was okay. And but I learned what a tremendous impact immigration had on our island in terms of border security, in terms of removing people who have no right to be here, removing undesirables, creating opportunities for our people through the work permit system. And I wanted to be part of that. So the following year after graduation, I applied back to immigration, and I was given a job as an hourly paid worker, doing almost the exact same thing that I had been doing the year before. But I I persevered, and in July the following year, I became an immigration officer, and that was, still one of the proudest moments of my life. Wearing that uniform for the first time, standing in front of a mirror and put on my uniform that evening, and my mom actually had to tell me to take it off and go to bed. I was so proud. I was so proud to finally achieve that. And at age 18, I made a goal for myself, and I said, Franz, by time you are 40 years old, I think you could be the next chief immigration officer at age 40.
Wow. So
And
at the age of 18,
at the age of 18, I set a goal for myself, and I am proud to say that I achieved that goal. I was chief immigration officer at age 39. But I understood that I would have to improve my education. So you mentioned we went to law school together. I was working and going to law school, and working shifts, working 5 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, and then having to study and go to class during the day. It was a real challenge, but I was able to, a lot of support from my family and my colleagues. I had to stop because we had 1,000 Cubans arrived, so I had to stop my studies to deal with those persons. So some stops and starts, but I think over a 8-year period is when it took me to finish my legal studies, and then I left immigration for a year and went to work at a law firm to do my articles, my pupillage, and then I came back as head of immigration, and it's still one of the best jobs that I've ever had. It prepared me well for this job. Crisis management, dealing with lots of customers, dealing with staff, and my goal coming into deputy governor was to promise that I would do everything I could to give my people the same opportunities that I have had in terms of career progression, training opportunities, and making sure that civil servants know that we care. That let our customers know that we care, and let the government know that we will implement their policy priorities, with passion and conviction. So that is my story in a nutshell. It has been the absolute privilege and pleasure to be deputy governor and head of the civil service.
Peppermint, sorrel, ginger.
We have an amazing team of civil servants, and I have a senior leadership team that support me. And, I enjoy coming to work every day, but I do know that at some point I am going to have to go to West Bay and get into my hammock and give someone else an opportunity to be deputy governor. So I have to think about that very soon and decide how I want to do that.
Oh, all right. So, I mean, that's amazing. I don't recall you ever sharing. Well, I've never heard the story before at 18 that you set that goal for yourself. So I think that's, it's a good example of how even our young people can, I'm sure at the time there are people who would have said to you, oh, that's not realistic. You'll never get there. That won't happen. But if you know what you want and you set your mind to it, most things in life are simply not impossible. You just have to know what path will get you there. That's and right. how to take that in the most productive way possible. So we have Nathina saying, good morning, my deputy.
Good morning, Ms. Blake.
Yes, Shadden is very happy to hear the good news. She said, good morning and thank you so much. And it says, France, I remember your first day at work at immigration. Wow. Later on, you told me you wanted to one day be the chief, and you made that and more. Congrats. So,
yes, hi, Ms. Ann. Yeah. Oh, I love working with Ms. Ann. She's an absolute pleasure to work with, and she's a good friend.
Yeah, she remembers you saying that. Miss Lucille says, good morning, Sandy. Says, I'm within my best friend Dulce yesterday. Hello to her family for me. At least I can hear and see what is going on home. I know you're coming on this morning. I won't miss you. I won't miss you for the day. I'm going to sit for the day with a cup of tea, and I love the show, and I don't care who else. Keep it up. Let France know I'm so proud of him. You all take care at home and love the Cayman Islands. So Lucille Forbes. Miss Lucille, where are you listening from, by the way? Are you in the UK or where are you? So Anne also says, France, I remember your first day. Yes. After a while, Yes, I think that was a repeat of the last message. So thank you so much. And Athena says you're the best. Lots of heart emojis coming in from Anne. So C. Ebanks says this is who your special guest is. Sorry, but you're not for Caymanians, France. So France, we're going to address.
Oh yes, I would like to talk about that.
Yes, for sure. Well, one thing about France is he doesn't shy away from any difficult questions, folks. So on that note, C. Banks, let's jump in. So when you hear people say, I mean, you've had an almost 40-year career in the civil service, and a good portion of that has been, as a leader, both at immigration and now for the past 10 years as deputy leader. When you hear people say that you're not for Caymanians, first of all, how does that make you feel, and how do you respond to it?
Well, it saddens me actually, because they just don't know who I am. They obviously don't know anything about me if you feel that way. But again, give me a chance to change your mind. So if you got a few minutes, I can certainly give you some very clear things that I have done. Not things that I'm going to do or just talk about it, things that I have done over my career that I think has demonstrated my love for my people and the care and concern that I have for my people. So can we go there?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So day one in my career, I realized that when I started as an immigration officer, things were not. Things in the 1980s, there was a construction boom, and things were hustle and bustle. And my team and I were charged with going out and arresting people and deporting them. That was our job. That's all we did from 5 a.m. in the morning and till about 10 o'clock at night. And I did that for 12 years. And it became clear to me that I was, risking my life for on the job. My team and I have been injured. I have been rocks thrown at me. People threatened to kill me. People tried to assault me. I had numerous difficult arrests. But my team and I, we persevered. But I had to ask myself, I think it was around age 25 when I was deciding to get married and to have children and everything. Franz, you are, there's a chance that you can lose your life in this job. Are you prepared for that? And the answer was yes. If I lose my life in the service of my country for my people, then I'm okay with that. I've seen myself covered in my own blood. Not something you ever want to see, being injured on duty. But I did not give up, Sandra. I was determined to make my country a better place for my people. So I don't think Chet has risked his life for our beloved islands, but I have on numerous occasions with a brave team of individuals who work with me every day, and it's a great pleasure. Yes, on Saturday, to co-host the Heroes Day Awards for our uniform services. I did 4 of those actually, and to see some of my colleagues being awarded there on Saturday, my Caymanian colleagues being awarded for their outstanding contribution to the betterment of the Cayman Islands made me really proud. To be able to call out some of their names, to take photos with them, made me exceptionally proud. And we owe all of those persons a great sense of gratitude in our uniform services. But moving on to more recently, that was a long time ago. I have made a pledge to myself that during my tenure as head of immigration, head of the civil service, I'm going to give, as I said earlier, my people as many opportunities as possible. So I spent half of my life deporting non-Caymanians. That was what I did. So I'm not sure if I'm not for Caymanians, and I'm not for non-Caymanians, then who exactly am I for? But that was my job and I did it well. Now, how do we take care of my people in the civil service? How do I take care of the larger group? So some of the things that I have done, and when I say it's my team, it is the team that surrounds me that have really supported me in doing these things. One of the first things that we were able to achieve was to raise the retirement age to 65. I had numerous Caymanians coming to me, Mr. Manderson, I'm 59 years old. I haven't finished paying my mortgage. I would love to stay on a few more years. I'm hardworking. I'm dedicated. And with the assistance of the elected government, the opposition was big on this. Deputy Premier Saunders was really big on this. We raised the retirement age, and we did that for one reason: to help Caymanians keep their homes, not get retired and then lose their homes. Caymanians that wanted to continue to work, they were able to work, and now I have persons working to 65, but I have a number of people who, even when they reach 65, Mr. Manderson, can I work a few more years, please? I just want to finish a project. I want to achieve something else before I retire, and we have allowed that. So again, Caymanians first, putting our people first and their welfare. We have increased our salaries in the civil service over the last 6 years by 14%. Civil servants, Caymanian civil servants benefited from that. And I am very proud to say that we have been looking after the team in the civil service, 75% of which are Caymanian. We are for our people. The persons at the very bottom were hourly paid. We moved them a lot of those from hourly paid to monthly paid, increased their salaries, increased their leave. Again, those are Caymanians. We have very, very few non-Caymanians at the lower end of our spectrum, persons that are working at DEH and other departments like that who do valuable work for us. Remember when we were not getting our garbage collected and we realized how very important the garbage collectors were? Well, we are now showing them that we care about them and that we value their service. We have the Civil Service College. That was there before I came. But one of the things my team and I did was to say, we are going to offer a bachelor's degree to Caymanian civil servants who want to progress up the ladder, who want to further their education, free. So if you are a Caymanian civil servant, you can obtain your bachelor's degree in public administration free. That is something exclusively for Caymanians. Exclusively for Caymanians. That happened during my time as deputy governor. We have paid honorariums to our civil servants during COVID, before COVID, because we understand that they need to feed their families. And I've had Caymanian civil servants come up to me when we first paid that honorarium a few years ago. I said, Mr. Manderson, I was not sure if I was going to be able to bring my son home for the summer holidays, or maybe the Christmas holidays, because I was living paycheck to paycheck. But that honorarium, that $1,000 that you gave us, or not me, but the government gave us, has allowed me to bring my son home for Christmas. Thank you. And I've had so many Caymanian civil servants come up and say, thank you for the services. Thank you for caring about us. We have, one of the things that I got complaints from Caymanians were, Mr. Manderson, I've gone through the Civil Service College. I have my degree. I've been to ICCI, I've been to UCCI. I have my degree, but I can't get a job because, why? I don't have experience. So what we put in place was a secondment opportunity for our Caymanian employees. So if you were in finance and you had a HR qualification and you need to get experience in HR, we can second you to an HR department in government, and where you can then gain the experience that you need in order to become an HR professional. You're already a finance professional, but we want you to become a HR professional. We're giving you that opportunity. And so many civil servants, Caymanian civil servants, have taken opportunities, taken up that opportunity and are now progressing up the ladder, gaining new experiences. What I wanted to do also was to make sure that civil servants were valued and appreciated. We have our Employee of the Month program. And Sandra, I got to tell you that some of the most proudest moments of my time has been as deputy governor is when I go to a department and announce the Employee of the Month. And to see the tears of joy, the tears that someone who has been working so hard, giving up so much, is now being recognized, makes me so proud. We recognized King Bush recently, a man who has been risking his life for us in the RCIP for 37 years, doing a tremendous job for us. We gave him his Employee of the Month, and I think it was in January for December. And he said, Mr. Manderson, in my 37th year of career, I have never been given an award, but he was so proud. His mom was there in her 90s. It was her birthday. So it was a tremendous family affair. So we did really well. We're also now doing our Teams Award so that we can recognize our teams. But Sandra, two things that I'm very proud of as well is our Second Chances program for Caymanians. So we know that a lot of our people made mistakes early in their life. They have been outstanding citizens ever since, but they can't get a job because they have a conviction, because people know them as someone who committed a crime. In the civil service, we developed a Second Chances program. And I'm very pleased to say, Sandra, that we have had, I think, 9 or 10 Caymanians come through that program. Only one of those persons did not stay with us. Everyone else has stayed with us and has now, most of them have transitioned into permanent jobs in the civil service. They've turned their life around. So am I really not for Caymanians?
Let's read a few. I'm going to give you a little bit of a break there. Let's read a few comments. Yes.
Can I just give my last one, and then I could go on all day about all the things that we have done, but the other one that I'm very proud of is our Emerging Talents program. So another complaint that I received was, Mr. Manderson, I just came back from school. I have a degree. I can't get a job because why? I don't have experience. We have created, with the support of the elected government, an emerging talent program where we have $500,000 set aside to give our young people who are coming back from college, who have a degree but can't get a job. Recently, we employed 2 young Caymanians who had degrees in veterinary sciences. We wanted to take them on at agriculture, but the agriculture didn't have the budget. They couldn't afford to have a person in the job and someone training. But we used those funds, and those 2 young Caymanians are now working in the Department of Agriculture, doing an amazing job. And by hopefully within the next year, they too will become permanent members of the civil service family. So I am very, very proud of the things that the civil service is doing for Caymanians. We value our people. The majority of my senior team are Caymanian. Well, almost all of my senior team are Caymanians. The people who I work with on a daily basis are Caymanians.
All right, so let's read a few more comments. Emma says, well done, DG. Your mother would be so proud. Yet, like you, she is so humble and very proud of you. Jared said, yes, sir. Nathina says, I disagree. He's for his people, and I can testify to that. Debbie, good morning. Good morning, KK. We do have a caller who is also joining us, so let's grab this call. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. Congratulations, Sandra.
Thank you so much, Minister. How are you?
I am fine, thank you. And it is a pleasure to see the DG on going back down memory lane. I remember those days.
Yes. Minister was right with us, right there, risking her life.
Oh yeah, yes, I remember those days in enforcement, and having to do case files and going up and hoping I get his blessing before it goes down then to Tower Building for a ruling.
That's right.
Yeah, wow. Those little those investigations that we had to do, and you threw me out on the road. You threw me under the bus, but it shows who I am today.
That's right. I listen. We reminisce. Minister Turner and I go way back. I sent her on an undercover assignment almost day one, and she did an amazing job. And she was with us, shoulder to shoulder in all our operations. She's again someone who has been a hero for working on the uniform services for many years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, brings back some memories for you guys for sure. And France, when you were speaking about even having rocks thrown at you, people think, oh yeah, that didn't really happen. But I know my good friend Mary, a lot of people know her as Pessa. She worked for immigration for quite some time as well.
Oh yes, Mary Heights.
Yeah, and she has a scar on her leg that she will carry to her grave, where when the Cuban nationals came in, I think it was called, was it Tent City or something?
Tent City, yes.
Yeah, and she had the same thing. Someone threw a rock and hit her on her ankle, and chipped, I think, almost the bone in her ankle.
I remember the day.
Have that scar forever. So our immigration officers, I think, are out there doing a lot even today.
That's right.
People don't know anything about because they work very, very silently. Occasionally, you might hear some of the cases that end up in court or some of the fines that are paid. But trust me, they're out there trying to remove, overstayers, dangerous people off of our streets every single day. So hats off to all the hardworking immigration officers, and in particular, the enforcement arm.
That's right. And Mr. Manderson and I were reminiscing just a couple days ago of how we were a family. When you were on the road, you had each other's back. And that's exactly what you find in the uniform service, is that when you leave your home with your biological family and you go to work, that's another family. And when you're out on the road in the fields, the only one that got your back is a part of your crew, your team. That's a family. And that has been with us for years. And look at Saturday and Friday, where we were honoring the uniform service. And I look back at the likes of Miss Nixon and Miss Pat and all of those that were a part of me and helping me and Mr. Manderson through our careers. We still remain tight-knit as a family to this day whenever we all convene.
That's right. Once you have served together in a law enforcement capacity, taking risks together, you're joined at the hip. That relationship never
exactly
is a bond. And as Mr. Turner said, you have that family. I'm here for you every day. Nothing's going to happen to you while I am, when I'm here. And that's the mentality of our law enforcement agents, law enforcement officers.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll allow you two to continue.
You.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. Looking for great things from you, and congratulations again to both of you.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, Minister. All right, folks. So that was Minister Sabrina Turner. So we have some more comments that are coming in fast and furious.
Okay.
Let me see here. So Yvette says, I love Mr. France Manderson. You're one of the best. Used to work in immigration. You always have time to speak to me. All when I see you in the supermarket, you stop and give me a talk. Lavana also says, good morning to France. You're a good person. I admire you and the work that you do. I remember you from way back when you were at immigration. Thank you so much. So KK says that we need to put a stop to the increased salary with the civil servants. What? KK, where are you coming out from? And put some focus on the private sector who's struggling. Well, I don't think any civil servant would probably agree with that. I actually have a young man who has worked with the civil service for a number of years, and he has said that since the entire time he's worked there, he's gotten no increase, and he feels like the workload is increasing, but the salary isn't. France, any thoughts on civil servant salaries versus private sector? Normally there isn't a comparison, but it's interesting that that the civil servants are making more.
Yes. So I mean, I take the point of the person writing there saying about the private sector. We try to take the lead in government in terms of cost of living adjustments, those things, so that we hope that the private sector will follow our lead and give raises to persons in the private sector as well. They have the same bills and the same expenses that we do in the civil service, and I know the PAC government is looking at at minimum wage again, because we see how difficult and how expensive things are here. But we are constantly reviewing salaries within the civil service. We haven't done a salary review in a long time. We've just been increasing salaries by cost of living. But we promised civil servants, I promised them last year, that we will be looking at our salary scales and looking to see how we could adjust the scales for persons E and below. So not my senior team, but persons below, to make sure that we were able to, that they were able to meet their obligations and better take care of their families. Because, you know, I understand if you are worried about your children, you know, having lunch, or your children's education, or where you're going to get lunch from, it's very hard for you to provide that world-class customer service that we expect and that our customers deserve. So again, a focus of our team has been, how can we take care of our civil servants? If we take care of our civil servants, they will take care of the customers.
Awesome. All right, folks. So don't forget that you can call in, participate in the conversation, just like the minister and others have already this morning. 936 BOBO. That's 936-2626.
You gotta love the name, BOBO.
Yes, yes. I can't take any credit for that. That was all the DMS team that came up with that. So congratulations. But they wanted something that was very local, indicative of who we are as a community. This is a community-based station, and there'll be lots of other talent throughout the day on the station. It's going to be news and talk. And we've got someone who claims that they're shy and they had sent a WhatsApp message and they decided to call in. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
So good to hear your voice.
Congrats, Sandra. And you got one of my best friends in the studio this morning.
Wonderful. France, I guess you can hear who that voice is, right?
Yes, I do. My one of my best friends.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
And I would just like to remind France, I remember that morning of the 7th of July, 1981, when we sat outside of Mr. Mark Patton's office.
That's right.
Myself, France, Linville Webb, and Alden McLaughlin, Sir Alden.
Wow.
To sign our contracts.
That's
So
right.
Alden was he worked for immigration as well?
No, we were signing contracts with government.
Oh, okay.
Right. From different departments, yes.
Yes, different departments. I think Linville was at fire station, the fire service, and I think Mr. McLaughlin was at the labor office or the court office. I can't remember which.
Okay.
But I think that's
you were
where
all starting the same day. Wow.
Same day, many moons ago. And
that's right.
I also remember that careers day in the hall that France is talking about, because we're not only good friends, we were in the same class at high school as well.
Class of 81.
Yes, class of 81. And I remember him telling me about, I know what I'm going to do. I love that uniform.
Yes.
And I told him, I said, Cobbler, I finished with uniforms. I don't want to put another one on in my life.
Yes, that's right.
Needless to say, I think he's done amazing things, and he's set his goals and achieved them. And I think it's a testament to what we all can do once we actually set goals for ourselves.
That's right.
And there'll be many people that say many things, but I know France from the heart, and I know he actually has done all he can to make the service of immigration officers and now the greater civil service better. And I know he will do many other great things prior to handing the reins over to some young, vibrant Caymanian who can take it to another level.
That's right.
He has done great things, and he will continue to do great things. But we're going to set some time aside when he does decide to retire to go fishing.
That's right. Yeah. Thomas, thank you so much for that. That is really. I can't thank you enough for that, for those kind words. And Thomas knows me from day one. We were, as 14, 15-year-olds before that, playing football in West Bay, hanging out together. So if you really want to know about Franz, and you heard him call me Cobbler, that's my that was my pet name in school. You go and ask Tommy.
I had not heard that one before, so that's new on us as well. Cobbler.
Yes. Cobbler, yeah.
And all the best, friends, and Sandra.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a lovely
Thank
day.
you,
All
team.
right, darling. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, folks. So there's no need to be shy. 936-2626. Call in. That caller was a little bit shy. He did message his comment in early, and I said, call in. He's like, no, I'm a behind the scenes kind of person.
Yes.
But yep, there's no need to be shy, especially not this morning. As they say, give someone their roses while they're still alive. So, you have positive experiences and things to say about Mr. Manderson. Let him know it today.
Yes.
So Auntie Dana says, good morning, France. It was a pleasure meeting you and your lovely wife. So she's sending some greetings this morning. Thank you so much.
Yes.
And Athena was guessing that was Keisha's. No, that was Tommy, actually.
Yeah, it was Tommy. Yeah.
So Marshall has a serious question. Marshall says, what about those civil servants who just sit at their desk hearing the phone ringing and they don't answer it? So, I mean, I guess, France, we certainly can't, and we do have another caller as well who's calling in, but we can't have a conversation about the civil service without recognizing that there are probably some slackers in there who need to shape up.
Right. And I want to thank the caller for that. The Mr. Duarte, thank you very much for that question, because it's a very real issue. So when we get those complaints, we investigate those, because we are here to serve the public. One of the things that, again, we implemented was the happy or not the happy or not terminals at various government agencies, because I needed to gauge the customer satisfaction across the service. And I'm very pleased to say I have a little post-it here. So you will see here that this is our happy or not results for from 2018 until today. And you would have seen that 676,000 people have pressed those buttons, and we have a 93% happy rating. Now,
I'm glad you're sharing that, because I wondered if those were going in cyberspace or if anybody actually.
No. I get an email every morning that tells me where the pain points are, where are our top agencies are. And I just want to give a big shout out to DVDL and Breakers and the post office. They are the top two performing customer service departments in government, according to the happy or not. So what are we doing? And again, I thank the person who made the comment. So what we want to do is, because it is difficult. I have lived there. I've been at immigration. So we asked a staff member, we would like you to take these 50 applications and list them to go to the board next week. And I also want you to answer, but I also want you to answer every single phone call that comes in. Now, it's very difficult for our staff to do both. In that, I can't list all these applications and then answer all the questions. So what we're looking at is how can we transition a lot of our, put more information online. If you were to log on to the Department of Commerce and Investment, they have a chat box that you can put in your question, and an automated answer will pop up. So we want to do more of those things across the civil service, so that persons don't have to call, because we will never, I think, provide the high level of customer service if we just focus on putting more people in to answer more phone calls. We want to make sure that we give you options. So the chat box, we want to give you more information on the website. We want to proactively put information out to our customers so that they don't have to call. But then, and this is a pledge to the person who made it, we will get to the stage where, I know the departments where this happens, that we will be answering your call in a timely manner. But what we're trying to do is to make sure that the call is sort of the last resort, that you don't have to call us for every single thing, that the information that you need is at your fingertips. You go onto the website and the information is there. And I just want to give a little thank you to Sandra, because she often messages me and says, DG, you need to have a look at this particular website. It's not up to date. And I appreciate that. And I want the Cayman public to know I am here to listen to what you have to say. So if you see something that's not working, email me and tell me, and I will get back to you. I know it's easy sometimes to just post it on Facebook. It's not just horrible experience, but maybe just before you do that post, send an email to the various department or to myself or even in the private sector and give us a chance to fix it. So let's work together on those things. But I want to assure the person who made the comment that we are taking those things seriously. And while I'm here,
and can I just say in relation to that, France, I've never messaged you and found that you were not responsive, that you were not like, okay, we need to get on this, we need to fix it.
That's right.
You know, I don't know how many government websites there are out there, and you know, I don't know whose job it is to try to keep all the information updated, but I understand that things can fall through the cracks at times. And yeah, whenever I bring it to your attention, you're on it, and you know, it's rectified pretty quickly.
Yeah. I care, Sandra. I care about the civil service. I care about the government of the day serving them, and I care about the Caymanian people. And you know, I don't want to be known as a deputy governor who doesn't respond to a phone call, or a deputy governor who doesn't respond to messages. I am the leader of the civil service. I am the one responsible. So I believe in leading by example and trying to do my very best. While we're on that subject, and I have never said this before, and I may never say it again because it's not something that I am proud of. But people said, DG, no one ever gets dismissed in the civil service. Are you holding your staff to account? The answer is yes, we are. But termination is not the first thing. It's the last thing. And it shouldn't really be easy to fire people. You should be giving them an opportunity to turn their life around, to turn their bad behavior around. I have done that on numerous occasions, worked with employees who were not performing, who were not coming to work on time, who was not giving the government and you their best service every day. And through counseling, talking to them, spending a bit more time, maybe moving them to another area to see whether they can be a bit more focused in that area, giving our people, our Caymanians, another opportunity to get better. I have great stories, Sandra, of turning people from being a poor performer to a superstar, and that's what gives me a lot of satisfaction. But I looked at our stats for 2019 and 2020, and unfortunately, 37 persons were separated from the civil service during that time. Now, that is not a number that I want to brag about, but I just want the public to know that yes, we do hold our staff to account, and we do, but we have performance management. We do work with them. There are civil servants that are in prison right now that committed serious infractions when they were working with us. But I am not going to get up and brag about those things, because that means those persons is somebody's son, daughter, mother, father, and I care about those persons. And I'm not going to sort of name and shame those persons, but we do have performance management in our civil service.
All right, so we do have 2 callers on the line. So the good news is we can actually accept multiple callers. I tell you, modern technology is amazing. So I do know that Kathy was first. Jamila, you're next in queue, but I know you're on the line as well. So Kathy, let's hear from you first. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sandra, and good morning to your guest, our Deputy Governor.
Good morning, Mom.
Yeah, I just wanted to give you a quick call to congratulate you, Sandra, on this great accomplishment this morning.
Thank you. Thank you.
Making it on the airwaves. I think for me, one of the things that I have heard in West Bay, just speaking with a lot of the elderly who don't have access to Facebook, I know many of them this morning are quite happy to know that they can tune in now on a radio station and hear and learn a bit more about who this Sandra lady is, or who Tina Mark is. And I just want to follow up, because I know you said you do have another caller waiting, but I know we've been talking a bit about Deputy Governor, and I too just want to follow back on some of the comments that were recently made. Prior to me, being elected, I was also a civil servant, and one of the things that really amazed me was how accessible the deputy governor was. I mean, I had a few occasions where I wanted to speak with someone and I dropped him a message and immediately, responded. And, even if he couldn't see me then, at least, he made certain to let me know that my concerns were important, and he certainly made time for me. And that has been a great example for me as a leader, still trying to navigate through, keeping in touch with people, and I see where it's really valuable. So, Deputy Governor, I just want to let you know that you certainly have set some standards there, sir, in terms of communication.
Thank you, Miss Catherine. That is it's so good to hear from you this morning, and thank you for those very kind words. And it's a pleasure to work with MP Catherine Ebanks Wilkes, a fellow West Bayer. So we can be very proud of her and her commitment to her people. That is without question.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Before I go, Sandra, I want to make a big shout out this morning. If I could scream from the top of Mount Trashmore, the highest point on the island, I would. I'm very happy that one of our fellow West Bayers, a female, Miss Chelsea Ayala, is getting called to the bar this morning, and I am very proud of her. And I'm sure everybody that's listening that knows her would certainly share exactly my feelings this morning. So I just want to say congratulations to her. I know how hard it is. How you both of you, DG, and you, Sandra, know how hard it is to attend law school while working. So to get called to the bar this morning is such a great accomplishment for her, and I'm very proud of her.
Absolutely. Wonderful.
Very proud. Congratulations.
Yes. Okay, take care. Thank you, Sandra. Have a good day. Have a good day, DG.
Great. Thank you. And Jamila, good morning. You're up next. How are you?
Morning. Good. Good morning to you and to the Deputy Governor.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, Mom.
I just want to put it out there about with the new government website with the careers.
Yes.
So I know that they launched. I don't know if it was late January or February. One of those.
February actually.
February. Yeah, because I just to put it out there, I applied for one job, but I haven't heard back yet. But I noticed, or like when we used to apply, like we would get like an automatic reply from the department, and like they would reach out to us back by email saying that okay, this is like when we're getting to sit the test or whatever. So I noticed on the website it says a notification button to say like if we have any upcoming future tests or interview appointments. So is that the case that we always have to go on to check when we have to sit a test? Or a notification, because we would miss that if I don't know that I was selected to go do a test, rather than getting it by email where I always check my email.
Right. So I think and I will get this information and pass it back to Miss Sandra. But to my knowledge is two things should happen. You should get your email, and then you should get a notification on the new website. But I will certainly look into that for you. And again, you give me an opportunity to just address another complaint. Was I apply to government, but I don't get a response. I only get an automated response, and then I never hear back. One of the benefits of this new system that we've put in is that whether it is 300 or 500 people that apply, every single person will receive a response to say, what happened. You were successful or you won't. So that was a big thing for me, was to make sure that one criticism we were able to deal with. But caller, I'm delighted that you want to come and work with us. And if you want to send me an email or to contact me, just please do, and I will look into the question that you asked. Or if not, I'll pass it on to Ms. Sandra.
Okay.
Okay, no problem.
Sounds very good. Thank you too. So let's read a few more questions. Parky Says DG, Mr. Manderson is a true definition of a good leader and providing leadership that the civil service needs. Thank you, sir. Sydney says, please ask him, will he address bullying within the civil service? So, yes, I mean, this is something that I've heard about happening, I guess, maybe in all workplaces or potentially in all workplaces, but it has come up in the civil service before. Is there anything that's being done to address workers who are being bullied or feel that they're being bullied?
Absolutely. So, Sandra, this again is our engagement survey. Again, our senior team wanted to make sure that we gave civil servants a voice so that they could tell us how they feel. Now, I am very proud of this outcome. We have last year, 83% of the service took the survey. This year, 78, but basically the same number of persons. So, participation rate is very high. So that is over 3,329 persons. And there is, you might see that there is an area here about inclusion and fair treatment. And that is at 69%. And it was a 4% improvement over 2019. So it's moving in the right direction, but it is certainly not what I would call world class. So on the back of the survey here, the relevant section, it says well-being. Have you been discriminated against in the workplace in the past 12 months? And that is around discriminating, bullying, and harassment. And 14% of the civil service said yes. Now, that number, I think we all agree, is too high.
Yes.
It is something that, again, we are working on, and it's getting better, but it's still there. So I've done two things. One, I keep saying I, but it's my team, because there is no I in team. My team has developed a anti-bullying and harassment policy that has been put across the entire civil service. So if you feel that you are being bullied and harassed, you have the protection of that policy to report it, and we will make sure that your report is viewed seriously and properly addressed. One of the other things that we're doing is that is to ensure that people understand exactly what bullying is. So we are raising the performance management of in the civil service. So it means that you're going to get pulled up if you repeatedly come to work late. Now, that is not bullying, okay? If we pull you in the office and say, listen, work late, you need to improve. I sometimes get a report to say, I was bullied today. My supervisor was pulling me up about various things. That is not bullying. So
that's called accountability.
Yeah. So we have developed in the policy examples of what is bullying and what is not. And that is a sort of a cultural change that we will have to go through a bit more to ensure that everyone understands that we have a zero tolerance towards bullying. And I am working, the third thing that I'm doing is I'm working with our staff association, who takes this very, very seriously, and have suggested that we roll out educational seminar around bullying and harassment, which is exactly what we are looking at now. So that's something that we take seriously. It is something that we have a zero tolerance for, and we will investigate it. I mean, we have fired people for this before. We have fired managers who were found to be guilty of harassment. So we take it very seriously.
All right, we do have a caller in the line. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Hi, morning.
Morning, friends. It's Nathina.
Oh, good morning. Good morning.
How are you?
I good. Hey, Sandy. I get through.
Yes. The phone lines are hot this morning, but like I told France, he always draws the crowd when he comes on. So
that is so true.
What's on your mind?
I want to personally say I love you, Sam.
Thank you.
Love you to death, Deputy Governor. I will go the extra mile to do whatever you expect of us to do as civil servants.
Thank you.
And I the only thing I wanted to ask was the education, if it could be an increase, if the opportunity arises of an education grant for us, for some of us who financially burdened because of how, yes, our salary and our personal expenses are. I think if something like that can also be done, that would also help us as individuals to better ourselves. Because sometimes it's not that we don't want to, it's that we financially cannot do it.
Right. And is that, just to clarify your question, is that specifically through the Civil Service College, or is this a grant outside of the Civil Service College?
Outside the civil service.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Because sometimes what they offer is not what we want to do.
Right. Okay. All right.
Well, thank you so much. It's so good to hear from you, and certainly
It's good to hear from you.
Yeah, and I'll take that forward for sure.
Thank you. And,
Yeah.
and then I also would like to say thank you to you on behalf of my son, with all of your exceptional help and with education department and everything. Without you, and the only thing you also mention a comment to send an email to you first or to the department. Sometimes we do that, but they don't respond the way that they should, and they give you a negative approach versus a diversion to a site.
Exactly.
Right.
And on those occasions, then you have every right to get on that Facebook and say it. So I want you to. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm saying maybe give the department or whatever an opportunity to fix it. But if they don't, then you do what you have to do.
Thank you. And
again, Mom, thank you for all that you do as well. You're an exceptional individual and such a fantastic mother. Thank you, Mom.
Thank you. Bye, Sandy.
All right, darling. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
All right, folks. So not only are the phone lines hot, but guess what? We do have someone who's going to jump in on the regular studio link. So good morning, madam.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I am blessed and highly favored beyond measures.
Ooh,
yes.
I love that.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Manderson.
Good morning.
Miss Welcome here.
Okay, hi.
Hi, Mr. Manderson.
Yes.
My concerns are greatly, as you well know.
Oh,
I
yes,
love my
ma'am.
people.
Yes.
I love to speak up for my people, and I love to see things get done for my people.
That's right.
I was so moved a couple of weeks back when I heard a conversation that went viral of how this Caymanian and this Canadian applied for a job. And they went to the restaurant and they were celebrating. Caymanians were in that restaurant and they were celebrating how the Canadian got the job over the Caymanian and that the Caymanian was even qualified. That caught me to the core. I don't know who the Caymanian is, but I literally cried that night to see how my people are being denied of work in the civil service. I'm also aware that, and I would like to see changes being made in our civil servants. We have too much foreigners in HR. That's why foreigners are being hired instead of our Caymanians. We need more Caymanians in our government HR. You have husband and wives in one said department, and you have that is called conflict of interest. We are to look out for our Caymanians. You and I are born Caymanians. We should have our people at heart. I know what it is to be discriminated against. That's why I decided to come out and work for myself. And nothing has been done and is being doing to protect our people with discrimination in the workplace. And it needs to start somewhere. Give our Caymanians the benefit of the doubt and give them the opportunity. We have children coming out of school every year. Where are they going? They're being disappointed. They're being turned down when they apply for civil servant jobs. And I want to believe this is the reason why we have so many of our young people committing suicide because of the stress. They're not able to work to support themselves, to support their families. Reach out to our people. Give our people the jobs that they desire. Give our people the jobs that they need. Cayman should be first. Cayman
Absolutely.
should be first. At the end of the day, all these foreigners that are being employed into our jobs, Caymanians have to train them in that said position. Why can't we have even in UCCI or job experience of these positions, these high positions in government? Train them, give them hands-on work. I mean, we need to start somewhere.
Right.
We need to start somewhere. And
Absolutely.
I mean, really and honestly, our Caymanians need to be at heart more than what is being played out right now.
Yes.
All right.
She
Definitely.
raised, yeah, Ms. Welcome, thank you so much. And you raised some really good points. Just to say, the question that she first said, where she mentioned the post, I think, Sandra, you may have posted it, about the incident at a restaurant with someone bragging or whatever. We have dealt with that. That particular recruitment was stopped, and we are going to be re-advertising the role, and we have a Caymanian that is acting in the role right now. So we
That's
have dealt,
amazing. Well, I'm so glad that you've updated us, because of course, I mean, I say this to you, France, all the time, and I say it to all the government ministers. If you guys are doing something and we don't know about it, it's kind of like the proverbial question: the tree fell in the forest, nobody heard it. Did it really fall?
right.
You
Yeah,
know, sometimes you have to just let people know what you're doing. So I'm so happy that you provided an update in terms of that this morning.
Yes, because Ms. Welcome knows me for a long time, and I'm happy that she speaks the way she does, very candidly, and puts the efforts, her views forward. She cares immensely about our communities. But she mentioned another point in terms of our young people. So what opportunities are we giving them? And I mentioned to you that I started as an intern, Sandra, in the civil service. And with the help of our team in the portfolio of the civil service, we have really changed dramatically our internship program, where we now have, before the pandemic, we were averaging about 140 young Caymanians coming into the civil service as interns every summer. Before we would have less than half of that, but now we have over 140. And I can tell you, Sandra, that a lot of them are transitioning into full-time jobs. So they're doing exactly what I did. You started as an intern, you got some experience, you made a good impression, and you're now working with us full-time.
Wow.
Secondly, we started our trade school, the trade school that everyone has been talking about, that we need a trade school. It is alive and well in the civil service at Public Works. The government has committed to that program. This particular government wants to give it even more funding, so that we can give our young people an opportunity to gain experience in plumbing, electrical, construction, air conditioning. And Sandra, I went to a graduation last year. Over 50 persons were in the program. And these are our young Caymanians who are now graduating. And do you know what the employment rate is of those students? 100%. So 100%.
So why don't we not know this?
Yes. Okay. So
gosh.
I have a sign in my office that says "No more silent victories." Okay. So
yes, please.
I'm going to have to come on to your show a lot more, because we're doing so much.
Yes, and I think the whole entire communications arm, if I can say this by way of constructive commentary, the entire communicative arm of government, I think really needs to step up. And it's not just traditional, oh, let's just send out a press release after
Yeah.
something has happened.
That's right.
You know, our audience, they know how we operate here in CMR. We like to give them stuff as it's happening, live and direct from the front lines. And so I want to encourage anyone who's in communications and government to just keep that in mind.
That's
When
right.
you have events coming up, let us know about it, because
That's
people
right.
want to know as it's happening. They want to be
Yeah.
part of the victories that we're celebrating.
That's
You
right.
know,
That's
it's not just the bad news that they want to hear. Trust me, most people want to hear good news over bad news. But we do
Well,
have a
exactly.
caller.
So we have to get you to the next graduation, because
Yes.
I'm telling you, Sandra, it is one of the most inspiring graduations that I get to attend, right? It's to see these young men and women
Yes.
graduating. The program has been set up so that they do classroom work at PWD, but also then they do field work with PWD and the private sector. And
Wow.
Sandra, we talk about world class, right? So
Mhm.
I get a lot of licks for saying the civil service will want to be world class. But I
Mhm.
say that because I have confidence in our people that
Mhm.
we can perform at a world class level. The second graduation that we had of this of the trade school, we had an assessor come from the City and Guild. So that's an international accreditation. He said at the graduation, these are his words: I have been uh, to trade schools like this all over the world. I have never seen a trade school as good as this other than in Sweden. So we have developed something very, very special with the support of the government, with the support of the civil service, with the support of the private sector. We have developed something very, very special at Public Works. We just recently completed a classroom construction for those students. So we are committed to that. So, Ms. Welcome, I want you to know, ma'am, that we are taking your suggestions seriously, and we have already been implementing many of the things that you're saying. We are giving our young people opportunities to get into the civil service, to live out their dreams if they don't want to be behind a desk, that they can be a plumber, an electrician, air conditioning, because Sandra, those are some of the best paying jobs. You know, you call a plumber, you know exactly what you're going to
Oh
pay.
yeah.
So
For sure.
I am proud beyond measure of that
All right.
of that trade school.
We do have a caller in the line. Good morning, caller, and thank you for calling into the program.
Good morning. I guess his meter is on.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm one of those that like to comment about government recruiting. So since Mr. Anderson is on, I'm taking the opportunity to speak to him and converse. My first thing in regards to the deputy governor, I know that he attends the graduations of the public schools, which is good, right? Anything being done to try to attract these top graduates. Now, you know, the ones that are excelling, the ones that have done well, as choosing government as their employer of choice. Is anything being done?
Yes, ma'am.
Not necessarily by you or by your HR officer.
Yes.
That's the first thing.
Yeah, so thank you for that. You've given me an opportunity to talk a little bit about another program that we've put in. So over the last 4 or 5 years, we have developed the Deputy Governor's Award in John Gray and in Clifton Hunter, where the top students are selected by their teachers, and we give them a cash award, but we also guarantee them a 2-year paid internship in the civil service. And I must tell you that we have had mixed success with that program. Some of the best and the brightest have actually gone to the private sector. But over the last couple of years, a couple of students have actually taken that. And last year, we had a brilliant young lady who won the award and has been working with us in the planning department, which was a dream of hers to become a planner. And I saw all of the amazing work that she's doing, and we are hopefully, she's gone off to college now, but we will guarantee her an internship when she comes back. And I'm praying that she will be the first top student of Clifton Hunter, I think it was, that will now join us as a superstar coming back from university. So we are targeting the best and the brightest students to come into the civil service by offering them the internships. And the vast majority of our interns come from from public schools. We do get them from private schools as well, but again, we're getting a good mix of public school and private schools that are coming into the civil service. And as you know, that John Gray has been rated a good school. So John Gray has the same rating as prep school. So I'm very, very proud of that. But also it just shows that we can achieve some great things if we give our people opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Right, that's true. Another question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Is I know that government has contracted officers.
That's correct.
People that are foreign, because we don't necessarily have all the people here.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to find out, what does government do? Like when people are nearing to the end of their term. Let's say they've gotten a contract maybe for 2 years, and we have Caymanians that may be able to do the job. Or are we trying our hardest to attract Caymanians to stay within these contracted jobs? Because I know, like, I'll give you an example, and don't pardon me. I know land registry. When Miss the lady from East End retired, Miss Anne, and I know that she's back there on a temporary basis now.
She is.
I know that we had contracted a Jamaican officer. I mean, an officer that is not from here. I won't get into the nationalities. What I am trying to say, I don't know that person's immigration status. I don't really care to know, but I'm saying what I'm trying to establish. Is anything being done with our graduates that are graduating to push them towards occupations that when we look at the civil service, we will see our Caymanians in these top positions? I remember when the director of customs left, and I remember, and I must give shout out to Minister Marco Archer. Marco said, and I remember hearing him say, under his watch, no person, no foreign national would come and manage our customs department. And I have to give kudos for that, because I know the director of many other countries have tried to come in. So I am saying for all of those, because we have contracted. When you hear of people in government that are accountants that are contracted, I have a cousin that's come back with a degree in statistics. Can I get a job in government? And I am saying to you, Mr. Manderson, those are the people. You all have to liaise with your scholarship departments. How can we be sending our students away, spending at least $30,000 a year to educate them, and they come back here and they go to private? It's like me training my helper to go and work with somebody. That does not make sense.
Okay.
We then trying to attract the scholarships that we are granting, or the ones that we are granting, that those children at least are be able to go and aspire to come and manage some of these departments.
Yes. So, Mom, I have some good news to share. So everything you just said, Mom, I cannot agree with more. Everything. But Mom, remember my background, okay? I started in immigration where my whole mandate was to deport people, okay? That's all I used to do. So you don't have to tell me to look out for Caymanians or to give Caymanians an opportunity. That is in my blood, okay? That is all that I know to do. So
but is that being trickled down?
Absolutely, it is, Sandra. So just to give you an example, Saturday night, I attended a farewell for a contracted officer who was leaving. She was asked to train herself out of a job. She was in HR, and she did that. We gave her a farewell, but we have a bright young Caymanian in her job now. Not one that's going to happen next week or next month. She's in that job. So we have a number of non-Caymanians who we have asked to train themselves out of a job, and they're doing it. In Lansing survey, the lady asked the question. We sent 2 Caymanian to law school full time. so that they can get prepared to take over that department. And one of them has now, both of them have now completed. One of them has just been appointed as, I think, assistant director. And we now have a plan in place for that, for those two officers to move up and be able to get to the top of that department.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I can tell you, Mom, that everything you say, we totally agree with. Our young people have to be given an opportunity. We have very few non-Caymanians in HR now. There were more before, but we have slowly been moving those persons, telling them to train our people. So I would say that, the vast majority of persons in HR in the civil service are Caymanians.
All right, caller.
She mentioned
my last one, Miss Hill.
Yes.
My last one. In regards, because I keep hearing the questions when people are asking about attracting Caymanian teachers.
Yes.
And I can tell you, I was very active in my school, my son's PTA, my children's PTA. So I know it is a profession that honestly, you're going to have a special calling for, because it's not easy dealing with a lot of these children. And I'm grateful for all the teachers that are here. But I am going to say, I don't know if there's anywhere in the civil service or anywhere in the bylaws that we could probably come up with some scheme. So, because you see it happening in Canada and other places where they're trying to attract foreign workers to come to teach, and they're thinking about giving them status. In our case, I would say to you is there any way to attract Caymanian students to stay? Either by giving them, and I got told us that they probably giving them land or giving them something or giving them something else. Something to attract them so when they start in that profession that they actually.
Thank you so much, caller. I tell you what, France, you do not disappoint. The phones have been ringing off the hook, Mr. Million.
I just want to say to that caller's question is, Minister Julianne O'Connor Connolly has been championing in this for years now. And one of the things that she was instrumental in is raising the pay for teachers. And she did that primarily so that we could attract the best and the brightest, and that we would have Caymanians now wanting to make teaching as their calling. You're getting paid, I think, just a bit over $5,000 a month to be a teacher. So that is a good salary, and that is and I don't have the stats in front of me, but I believe we are attracting more Caymanians now to that profession than we did before. On the question of, she mentioned a person with a degree in statistics. We just recently employed a Caymanian graduate who had a degree in statistics in the ESO. If she has a resume that she wants to send to me for someone who has a similar qualification, I would be happy to look into it for her.
All right, folks. So we do have, I believe, Miss Vernita's on the phone. Good morning, ma'am.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Bobo. Congratulations. I'm not feeling well, and I'll try to get it out just for my therapist's sake. But anyway, again, congratulations to you, and good morning, Deputy Governor.
Good day, ma'am.
I suffer with fibromyalgia, so just give me a little minute here. I'm just doing this for my therapist. But I am congratulating you, both of you. I'm so proud of you two as being Caymanian. And please keep up the good work and try to be more tolerable with our people and our young ones, and look out for each other and try to help each other, because this is how this thing is going to work. Unity, love, and care. And when you get on the job, you might not like the job, young people, but do your best for the day. An honest day's work is better than nothing. Even sometimes, got to learn to go, like back in the days as young children, we used to go around to see if the old people needed help, the doors need cleaning, the yard need cleaning. I think we need to get back to that. Mr. Manderson, sir.
Yes.
You got a big job, sir.
Yes,
as
ma'am.
I had read last a couple of weeks ago, I don't remember dates, about this man saying how can we get back our Cayman, make our Caymanians work. I think from my understanding, and I think we should have got lessen the island with people, put our people in place, our children. You don't want to work, but you got to force them to work. Volunteer to help those companies that say this short of staff, all those little children that say have attitude problem. Put them to work. That's a mass of social services. Put them to work to help them to somebody somewhere somehow. And give them incentives too, because the children need incentives to be educated and teach them their culture. Caymanians are so lost in their culture and with such a great history. So, sir, you're deputy, you're next to governor. I don't think you're getting closer than that as being a Caymanian. And I hope you keep looking up for your good apples. The bad ones, beat them out, because you have a lot of those too.
Yes.
You have a lot of those. But I used to work for government in the postal department. Yeah, I had a lot of problems too. I used to go complain, because when it comes to my work, I don't care about friends or people. I do my work to the best of my ability and try to do more. But sometimes when you, as working sometimes with our own people, when you try to be decent and they don't like that, they just don't like you. You just don't pay them no mind, and they're chatting in their business and they're slap talk and so on. But anyway, let me get up because I ramble on. I'll forget what I'm saying.
Thank you.
So much.
Congratulations to you all, and let's get back our country. Take this back. Be caring, helping. Let's be a being. This little dot on the map can show the world how good God is as our Christian nation. That wisdom, education is something, but that wisdom of our fathers is the best. Take care. God bless you all.
Darling.
And
Thank you.
take care for each other.
All
Bye-bye.
right, we do have another caller coming in, so I just want to remind everyone, folks. I know the phone lines are hot this morning, but just be reminded that we've got about 4 minutes left, under 4 minutes for the radio. So we've got to be very precise in ending the show. So what we might have to end up doing, if the governor's okay with staying on a little bit longer on the social media lines, we'll continue there. But in terms of radio, we're going to play the closing with about 30 seconds left, because we've got to end that precisely at 9:30. So I'm watching the clock in case anyone listening on the radio is wondering. We have to be very tight with the schedule there. But let's go ahead and take the next caller. Good morning, caller.
Hi, good morning, Sandy.
Good morning.
And good morning to your guest, Deputy Governor.
Good morning, Mom.
And congratulations on your radio accomplishment.
Thank you so much.
I just wanted to make a comment and have a quick question.
Sure.
The Deputy Governor can answer once I get off the call.
Sure.
Me as a Caymanian, I've applied numerous times for the civil service. I've taken numerous tests. I've had numerous interviews, but I've never been successful. I think it would be a good idea if they can make feedback available for people like me, so we could know, you know, what we need to improve on, or what is it we're doing wrong. You know, why we're not successful. I know there's a lot of competition out there, because there be a lot of people sitting those tests and in those interviews. So I know there's a lot of people applying for those positions as well. And also, if the deputy governor has any advice or any suggestions, you know, that he can give to me and others like me that, you know, that's always applying and are not successful, that would be great as well.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But first, I want to thank the caller for, again, wanting to be part of our civil service family. And I'm sure it will happen. But yes, I love that suggestion on the feedback. So we do it a lot internally for persons who apply internally, that they ask for feedback. But I'm quite sure if you got an interview and you were not successful and you asked the panel for some feedback, they would do it. I have been promoted, I think, 7 times in my career over a period of time. And I try to do my endeavor best to make the choice very easy, that there was no dispute about who the successful candidate was. Again, I was lucky in that I was in the service, so I could view my job description as the minimum, not the maximum that I must do, so the minimum. So if I my job description said I'm supposed to work in enforcement at the airport, but I was I went to go and work. I was asked to go work on the port. I went. My shift was supposed to finish at 7, but I was asked to work till 11. I did. So, I made sure that I was being noticed in terms of my
DG,
dedication.
can I pause you right there one quick second, folks, for our radio listeners? We're going to be bidding you adieu. We'll still be continuing on Facebook and on YouTube.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on BOBO 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Find us on Facebook and YouTube for the latest show episodes, including special community interviews and much more. Follow Cayman Morrow Road on Facebook and YouTube for all your community happenings.
All right, folks. So we're back. I think I went over by 5 seconds. So I've got to time that just right, folks. But yes, we're back, and we're going to continue the conversation because I can see that all of you are engaged. So of course, remember, folks, you can still call into the show. We're now just live on YouTube and Facebook, but of course, thousands of people go back and watch those episodes. So let's continue working through the question. Sorry about that, Deputy Governor. So we have Belika, who says, congratulations, Mr. Manderson. Always amazed at how you can answer emails, even from me, in matters of public interest.
Yes.
Scott Novak is joining us. Yes, Scott Novak is joining us this morning, and Scott says, good morning. Congratulations on all the achievements and so many positive things that are happening. Hot today, Bobo.
Yes, my good friend Scott, listen, the country owes Scott a huge debt of gratitude. He was one of those brave police officers, working with us when, doing crime, dealing with crime, dealing with drugs. We owe him a huge debt of gratitude. So Scott, my friend, thank you for all that you did to make your man what it is today. We owe you a debt of gratitude for sure.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so I was answering the latest question, so when we're interviewing, research is so important in terms of go on the department's website, learn what the department is all about, talk to people in the department, get a very good understanding as to what the department is all about. Read our 5-year strategic plan on being a world-class civil service and our purpose to make people's lives better. So know everything you can about the civil service so that when you're answering questions, they are impressed with your knowledge of the service and that you can give real examples of things that you have done in your career. But if the caller would like to meet with me, send me an email and I'd be happy to find some time and talk to them.
All right. Mr. Amelia had one final question. Mr. Amelia?
Yeah.
Mr. Manderson, sorry that I didn't get to finish all what I wanted to touch base with you. I am blown away by seeing how many people are so happy that you're responding to them and responding to their emails or their calls. And boy, I'm just scratching my head right here. Also, what I wanted to speak about as well, there's two things actually. How many Caymanians are in position of head of government departments? That would be very interesting to know, because I am aware that we have, for example, planning and NRA, husband and wife. When can
I don't know those things. You have to send me an email with that information because that's not sounding familiar to me at all. So please send me some information on that.
Number two is the issue with our drive-through. With Cayman Kind Action committed drive-through with our communities with you.
Yes, you did.
We talked about creating a task force team.
That's right.
Which I understood the task force team was created. I'm not sure how accurate that is. And I also requested that a community advocate to be a part of that task force team to ensure things get done in our island to get our island back in tip top shape for to get our island beautified. And I'm very saddened that was not able to communicate back with you, or you didn't touch base back with me and my team to update us on that and to use one of our advocates for that task force team.
Right.
Why wasn't that done?
Right. You're right, Mom. That has not. I have not gotten back to you on that. And the Commissioner of Police and I met. He followed up with you. I've met with all of the agencies that are involved in the so planning, DH, immigration, all of those agencies. So I owe you a follow up now with what we're going to do and what we have done. So give me another day or two, and I will come back to you with some details, and then we can have a sit down and follow up on a few of those issues.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yes, and to answer your question on Caymanization, so 71% of the top senior leadership team are Caymanian. The only persons that are not Caymanian on my senior leadership team is the Commissioner of Police, the Auditor General, and the Ombudsman wasn't. She's left, and our Solicitor General. And those are offices that report to His Excellency, and I'll have some news on that as well in terms of where the governor wants to take that. 79% of all our HODs are Caymanian, and 72% of all of our promotions within the civil service are going to Caymanian. So the vast majority of all of our our heads of departments, almost 80% are Caymanian. And where they are not Caymanian, we will be putting in place succession plans to ensure that a Caymanian takes over. So, we are close right now. And I'll just say this, the governor and I have been having lots of conversations around succession planning and making sure that our leadership. So we believe that, over the next 2 or 3 years, that number is going to be very close to 100%. We have those plans in place. We have a fire chief that will be Caymanian very soon. We have a capable prison director who, Mr. Greaves, we're hoping that he will be, moving up soon. So we have a lot of plans in place to Caymanize the entire leadership team in the civil service. And there's only a very few departments, as I said, that have a non-Caymanian. And we will make sure that, again, there are succession plans in place for that.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Now, of course, I'm glad that you mentioned the Ombudsman's office, because we can't let you off the hook today, Fran. So there's a few positions in government at the top management that have been concerning for us here on the Cold Hard Truth, and we have mentioned them before. So I know, for example, Miss Sandy from the Ombudsman's office has resigned and she is leaving.
That's right.
But we have a Caymanian there, Ms. Sharon Ralston, who has applied for the position, and I'm told that her application actually got lost. Now, I don't know if you know about this or not, but I was shocked to hear about this over the weekend.
Yeah, I do.
How does a person's application sent into government for such a high-ranking position get lost?
Yeah. So I was made aware of that. I don't think lost is not correct, but when we did our collation of all of the applicants, some hers was missed. But I can assure you that she has been already given every opportunity to compete for that job, and I would expect an announcement from the governor about the successful candidate for that job over the next couple of weeks. So and certainly I don't hope I'm not breaching any protocol, but certainly Miss Rollstone is somebody who I have worked with for so many years during my time at immigration. I have great respect for her, and I know she will do well. In her interview and whatever happens after that. So I don't want to say any more than that. But
Yes, that's fine.
I
All right,
I
we
want
just
to
want
show
to
you that
we just want to
yeah,
make
the
sure that
process is
file
back on track.
13 bin doesn't exist within government. So,
Yeah, the
you know,
process is back on track.
sometimes in private sector they say the managers sit there with the file 13 bin, which is actually the shredder, and applications
we
end up
don't
in the
have
shredder.
that. Yeah, we don't have
All right. So another one that has been of concern is at the prison.
Yes.
There is someone who is said to be the most qualified employee at the prison, and yet she has been put on leave, or I don't know if she has been officially terminated and then rehired. I'm not sure what the latest is, but she was put on leave. I want to say that this goes back to 2019. Let me just do a quick little search here, and I can tell you this is the second time now.
No, I'm well aware of the case. It has been some time.
Back in October of 2019, and
but
she's
again,
still
that is
not on the job.
Yeah, that's an ongoing matter, and but we are very close to having a resolution and welcoming her back into our civil service.
All right. All right, let's do we've got a caller, so let's do our callers for I think they hung up actually. So we want to give callers priority.
Yes.
So caller, do call back, but we'll go through a few comments. So Damien wants to know, will we ever get a system to do background checks or cross references with Interpol and Europol? For example, a national ID for all living here with a fingerprint and palm database. Now, Damien, had you been paying attention to the show,
yes,
you would know well over a month ago, I told you, I've seen a sneak peek of the national ID, and it's very sophisticated with a pin and chip and everything. But perhaps you could tell us a little bit more about that, Mr. Manderson.
Yes. So we do a lot of background checks at the moment. So anyone coming in here to live here permanently, we do extensive background checks. We have a very good, we actually have an Interpol liaison person here in RCIPS. So we do that from quite a bit of work with them. Right now, the whole sanctions with Russia is keeping us very busy to make sure that no one on their sanctions list is doing business with us here. That's taking up a lot of our time, but it is so very important that we, support the people who are being, oppressed at the moment and subjected to war. So it is something that we constantly work on in terms of our liaison with the relevant intelligence agencies around the world. We had looked way back when I was at immigration on a fingerprint system at the airport, but what I found was that not many agencies wanted to share their fingerprint data with us. So the United States was not going to share their fingerprint data with us. Jamaica was not going to share their fingerprint data with us. So then why have the system if our major travel points are not going to share their database with us? Now, that's been a long time ago. Maybe we can revive that again. I like the idea. I've made a note of it here because I think, we constantly want to make sure that everyone coming into our island is of the highest character. That is
what is the hesitation with the other countries sharing their database with us? Is there a reason that they would have given?
So a lot of it is due to data protection. So for example, if we captured your fingerprints at the airport, so Sandra, you came in at the airport and we captured your fingerprints, we don't have your permission to put that into our criminal database because you're not a criminal. So it creates those issues is that so if you came into Cayman and we took your fingerprint, that would have to remain on a separate database. And if someone committed a crime, we wouldn't be able to access that travel fingerprint database. Now again, that is something that we need to look at national security implications. But the other countries just basically said they had no mechanism to share their fingerprints with us. Now, Interpol and other agencies may be a backdoor into that. So, like I said, I like what the caller is saying. He's piqued something that I have been very, very uh, passionate about in making sure our borders are safe and that we are not allowing people to come in who mean us harm.
Okay. All right, very good. Thank you so much. El Ray says, so we need a web version for that when we call into any government department, or maybe a quick questionnaire at the end of each call so the caller can rate the quality of the interaction.
That's right.
Damien is also suggesting live customer service chat agents on websites.
Yes,
Johan, good morning.
Yes.
Johan comes into the conversation. He says, where is the accountability and transparency at the highest levels of the civil service, e.g., for example, chief officers, deputies, and head of departments?
I think transparency and accountability is alive and well. I am the leader of the civil service. I take the responsibility of what happens within the civil service. The highest levels of the civil service, other than the governor's responsibility, report to me. So I am held accountable by His Excellency for doing my job, and I will always do it, whether it means making a hard decision, whether it means whatever it takes for me to do my job, I will do it, and I have always done it. So I think transparency and accountability is alive and well in our civil service. I like the question also about the chat box, and like I said earlier, we have chat box available in DCI and Department of Commerce and Investment, where you go to do your trade and business licensing. And I want to we are also looking then as to how we transport that across the entire civil service. So
wonderful.
It's a good suggestion.
Yes. So Diana passed your comment on to the HSA so that they can action that, because of course we have central government, and then we have all of the associated authorities, and they have their own, CEOs or directors and HR managers and so on. So I've sent your comment straight to the top about them answering the phone calls over there. Stacy says, good topic. More of these people need to be on your show. Well, France has committed to coming on, folks. Nathina says, as per statement in regarding to sending emails and giving a chance, that doesn't always work. I can also attest to that. The only time results happen is when we complain to you, which shouldn't be the case. And, I think that's a fair point that Nathina makes is I don't like to have to go to France for everything, because, he's but one person. I'm sure he gets tired and worn out at times. So if other people were actually responsive further down the line and doing their job, a lot fewer people would feel it necessary to go to the France Mandersons of the world, to go to their MPs and so on. So that accountability has to start all the way from the bottom to the top and from the top to the bottom.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, to what Mr. Moxham said earlier is about accountability and transparency. There's also a thing called fairness. And, we have to make sure that when we are applying that transparency and accountability, we're doing things in a very fair manner. I believe that we should treat our employees fair up until the very end, whether that means they leave the service, but we treat them fairly. Think about it. I told you that I went to a farewell for a lady who was leaving, that we have asked to train herself out of a job. The fact that she, I got invited to her farewell, means that she knew that I was, and her chief officer and others were putting pressure on her to train a Caymanian. But because we dealt with it in a very fair manner, she thanked us, Saturday night for, working with her and giving her the opportunities. But again, it's about being fair to our people. No one is going to push me to be unfair to one of my people. It's not happening. So I will do my job, but I'm going to do it in a very fair manner and an unbiased manner, and to make sure that I can defend whatever decision that I make. And listen, Sandra, you and I both know nobody shaves my face in the morning. It's me. So I have to look myself in the mirror and says, Franz, did you do the right thing yesterday? Or did you are you going to do the right thing when you go to work today? And the answer is yes.
All right. So Johan follows up with that, and he says, if the top levels of management are not held accountable for their actions, omissions, mistakes, and poor choices, that destroys morale at all levels, because there's clearly a sliding scale of accountability within the civil service, especially at the very top. So again,
I think that's nonsense. I don't know what is being said. Obviously, that is his impression, but it's a misguided impression. It just doesn't happen. Come and have a chat with me, Mr. Moxham. Let's talk it out. I don't agree with anything you're saying there. Absolutely not.
All right. Jonathan, good morning. Ali is joining us. Jerian says, I guess everyone doesn't get a second chance. It's just for the fortunate. I guess the second chance is only for some. So I don't know if she's speaking. I think these are earlier comments. We're still catching up in comments from an hour ago, but I guess that's when you were talking about the prisoners. So not every prisoner, I suppose, will get a second chance. That's why the thing to do is not to end up in the penal system at all if you can.
I'm just changing location, Sandra. My computer is about to die.
Okay, no problem. Let me just pull you out one quick second while you do that. I'll continue reading some comments. Johan goes on to say, everybody, including myself, likes and respects the deputy governor for obvious reasons. However, the reality is multiple reports, auditor general reports, and evidence exists that about what happens at the highest levels, and nothing seems to change at the highest levels of the civil service. Yet the rank and file are held accountable. At the very top, the same characters are allowed to make expensive and embarrassing mistakes that impact the country. So you've got an open invitation there, Johan, from Mr. Manderson to sit down with him. Mel, good morning. Mel says, congrats to Sandy. Good to have a new show to discuss local topics and concerns. So actually, it's still the same old cold hard truth, which we've just celebrated 2 years doing. But now that we're on radio, I think it definitely takes it to the very next level and adds a new element. And I'm so happy that Mr. Manderson has decided to join us this morning. So Johan has more comments. So Johan, definitely speak with the deputy governor. Perla, good morning. Perla says, congrats, Sandy, and your success. Good morning, Gigi France Manderson, and welcome on the first day of CMR radio broadcasting. I hope to see you and many more from the government offices here.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Look forward to it.
Absolutely. Tommy, good morning. Davis says, like everyone else, I was badly hit financially by the pandemic. It's okay to doubt because I doubted also. Yet I took a bold step, and today... oh, good grief. This is a spammer. I thought he was going to say something serious about actually getting a job. So Davis, we're going to go ahead and block you and delete your comment. Spammers are not allowed. They're the only ones that we don't allow to comment on the show. Edris says, my daughter is well qualified, postgraduate and Caymanian, applied for work in the civil service and no success. So let me just... let me just ask a question here about the hiring. So I've got a lot of people who, there was someone else on WhatsApp who had a question in relation to that. And they essentially said, what's the process when someone applies for a job? Now, first of all, within the civil service, first of all, I know that anytime, especially for administrative level jobs, there tends to be a lot of people applying for those types of jobs all at the same time.
Yes.
Are there any recommendations? One position's advertised, 100 people, 100 Caymanians apply. Obviously, working for the civil service is still seen as something that people want to do. It's still seen as the employer or preference. Is there anything that people can do when they apply for civil service jobs? Because obviously, if it's just one position, it's just one position, right?
That's right. And Sandra, you're correct in that. And again, I'm very proud of this. The civil service has become an employer of choice. That was not always the case. I remember when I was at immigration, trying to get an immigration officer, because they all had to be Caymanian. It was a very difficult thing for me to do. Now, when we advertise for a CBC officer or whatever, we get hundreds of applications. So things have changed, and people now want to become part of our civil service family. And I'm very, very proud of that. But yes, I mean, we advertise and we get hundreds of applications, which is why we have had to, change our IT system and make it a bit more easy accessible, allow persons to apply for multiple jobs without having to fill out, multiple applications, all of those things that we have done. But the common goal is to try and get as many Caymanians in the civil service as possible. So yes, again, my previous comment stands is that, make sure that you are prepared for the interview. I still get feedback sometimes that persons are coming to the interview and you're asked, tell us a little bit about the department that you're going to join, and the person doesn't have that information readily available. So preparation for the interview is critical, and make sure you come across as positive, dependable, and that you want to be there. It is something that you have to fight for. Me moving up the civil service was not easy. I had to put in tremendous amount of hours. Saturdays, Sundays, Christmas days. I think I worked 12 Christmas days in a row. But it was what I had to do to move up the ladder. So you have to make it your single focus when you're applying to come into the civil service. It is be prepared, be presentable, know what the job is all about. Make sure you have read the job description 10 times to make sure that you are ready and can be the very best candidate.
And Gabby supports that position. She says the competition to get in the civil service is very tight.
It is.
Hundreds of Caymanians are applying for those positions, and she's been trying to get in there for years now. This is why,
Miss Gabrielle, don't give up.
Yes, I mean, look at CC as a perfect example. CC likewise has been applying for some time, and CC was just recently successful. So she's finally got a dream civil service position, because
welcome.
Yeah, I mean, that's, like I said, for some people, that's all they want is a civil service job. And I mean, we have to really be realistic sometimes about how we ourselves, and I've talked about this before, we expect accountability at the highest levels, which is absolutely appropriate, but we should also be making sure that we're holding ourselves accountable. So here's an example. I was speaking to someone over the weekend about some of the tourism sector jobs, and a person went to the job fair at the Ritz, and they fill out the application, and then they got called for an interview, and what do? They show up late for the interview.
Yes.
It's like, you can't, and then you guys want to be calling me and saying, Sandy, you need to put these people in blast. How can I support that? How can I put people in blast when you don't do the bare minimum, showing up on time, or heaven forbid, early to an interview? Those are the types of things that are very basic, folks, but already it demonstrates, because listen, if you were trying to get a job and you can't even show up on time for the interview, what happens if you're given the opportunity to get the job? Are you going to be showing up late to work every single day? That's the sort of thing that just cannot, be acceptable anywhere. So you guys have to be prepared to do your part. Now, if you're doing your part you've got a stellar employment record, et cetera, and you're still not getting hired, then we need to see where the problem lies.
Absolutely. And Sandra, I'll give you a little joke, So a few years back, not for deputy governor's job, but I think maybe when I was applying to be chief officer, I was preparing for that and preparing for my interview. So I said to my son, can you do a little role play with me? Can you ask me some questions? So we sat at the dining room table, and he said, well, Dad, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to give you the job. And I'm like, what is it? He said, look at how you're dressed, So I was dressed in a tracksuit or something, like what coming from exercise.
He was taking the practice session.
Yes,
real.
he said, Dad, if you're going to practice, you practice with what you're going to wear, So I had to go back in my room and come up with my suit on. But it's you have it's almost, you have to see it as once in a lifetime opportunity. I'm only going to get one time to make a good impression on this. So let me go full out. When I was applying to become deputy governor, I went out and bought special resume paper to put my resume on, so that it looked as professional as it possibly could, because I wanted to make it easier for the panel to say Franz Manderson is the best candidate. So whatever it takes to make that good impression on the panel, you have to do it. Yes, sometimes people say, oh, well, I'm kissing up to the panel. Well, yes, you want something from the panel. You want the job.
Yes.
So if you have to go to your way a bit to be nice and whatever, then do it.
Yep. All right. So a few people again mentioning that they've applied for jobs. And I think at some point it's also just a numbers game. Like if you're one of 200 people applying for, an admin job or a customer service job, you do understand only one person can get it. So the odds are not necessarily in your favor. Even if you pass the exam, you might say 50% of the people pass the exam, you're still up against 100 other candidates. So folks, you've got to persist. I think persistence is important and just stick with it. So Jamila says that she applied for a job and works and didn't get a call back. My friend told me that they're hiring. When I reached out about the recruitment, it was tough. And let me tell you that the person that replied to me, she's always out sick. I don't even know how she's still employed there.
Okay.
So, Perla says, I know Mr. Manderson's not the only one with a solution, but I'm grateful that he's listening and making miracles happen. One man cannot stand alone. One love.
Yes. But I must tell the caller, I have some wonderful people around me that work hard every day. So it's not me doing this alone. You kept hearing me saying the team. I have a great team. But Sandra, just if I could just sidetrack one bit, and in terms of about young Caymanians coming into service, there's something that I'm seeing, which I'm very proud of, is young Caymanians, male and female, joining our law enforcement agencies. So we have 100% of our Coast Guard recruits starting off with 17 bright young Caymanians who is making us very proud. A few years ago, we would not have had that many or that caliber of young person apply to become part of our uniform services. Last week, I attended the graduation of the police recruits. And again, some outstanding young Caymanians, males and females, are now joining the RCIPS. So I am very, very pleased about what I'm seeing happening in that our young people are stepping up and said, I want to be part of the solution. I'm not going to stand by and complain. Let me be part of the solution. Let me help reduce crime in my country. Let me help turn people away from a life of crime. And I'm seeing it also at the prison as well, where more and more Caymanians are applying to go and work there. So I am very, very that. And Ms. What was that question?
Yes, I'm gonna get to, sorry, I'm just going through some of the comments so we can get to them. So Janet Watler says, remember when Mr. Manderson defended hiring a contracted person with less qualified person over Caymanians? I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe this could be the one that was in education with Sheena Ebanks. And essentially, not just Sheena, but there were other Caymanian women in particular who had done better in the exams and who'd placed better in their interview over the Canadian gentleman who ended up getting that position. And of course, that was legally challenged. I think a settlement has been made with Sheena. So
no, I mean, the case went to CSAC and we the government won. So they found nothing wrong with
CSAC being
our Civil Service Appeals Commission. But I don't want, Ms. Sheena is a wonderful person. I don't want to go into any specifics. I stand by the decision that was made. The best person for the job got the job, definitely.
Okay. We've got Mel. Good morning, Mel. She says, good morning, Mr. Manderson. What policies have been implemented within the civil service to address climate change policies that the civil service can make to lead by example? For example, no single-use plastic, reusable water bottles, reducing personal carbon emissions, no littering, no polluting, no damage to the environment, sorry, and so on.
Yes, good question. So one of the first things that the new government did was to get rid of plastic bottles in cabinet. So we're all drinking out of either like bottles like this, which is from the Ministry of Sustainability and Climate Resiliency. Mr. Premier's ministry. We're either drinking out of that or we are having a glass of water. And we're trying to do that throughout the building. We are big on recycling in the civil service. We have recycling containers all around the civil service. And we want to be part of the tree planting initiative where very soon I am going to be challenging civil servants to be part of that as well, to make sure that we are doing our part. We also want to make sure that we are about keeping the island clean. So we take part in all of the island-wide cleanups and to make sure that we are doing our part with that. And I see my good friend Magdalene, who I've known for so many years, asking about Caymanians versus non-Caymanians.
Yes.
So yeah, let me get that
Send
started
that
for
to
her.
me. That would be awesome.
You know, I have it in front of me. So if you allow me to step away from I moved locations where I had the information. But just off the top of my head, 75% of the civil service are Caymanian. No, sorry, over 70% in the entire public service is around 75%. So where are our non-Caymanians made up? At the prison, RCIP, teachers, and some social workers. Those are the departments where our non-Caymanians are the highest. And that is slowly changing as well. As I'm telling you, we're getting many more Caymanians going into those departments. And I'm very proud of that. I can tell Ms. Magdalene that 55% of the service are women, and that women are paid more than men in the civil service, about $500 more, and that the 47% of my senior team are women, and 60% of all promotions that were done last year were women. So again, we're very proud of those statistics. Ms. Magdalene, if you go on to the Parliament website, you will see a report called the Civil Service Annual HR Report, and you can get all of the information that you want about the civil service, around pay, around demographics, who got the hiring, firing, separation. Everything you need to know about the civil service is in that report. And Sandra, what I'll do is I'll get a copy and I'll flick it over to you. But
Okay,
that has all of the information that you need.
Wonderful. Well, we don't want to keep Mr. Madison all day, folks, because he does.
Yes, I just realized what time it is. Wow.
But yeah, we've got some additional comments. Now, Romelia makes a point, which I've said on this show before, but I think it's worth saying again. She says that her concerns are born Caymanians. Folks, I want to remind you that legally, you cannot discriminate between a born Caymanian and a non-born Caymanian once they have that piece of paper that gives them the right to be Caymanians. And that is why I always encourage our people who are often responsible for making someone a Caymanian to pick the best possible people. That includes these marriages of convenience, folks. I'm going to take this opportunity to say it again. When you hire people that are not worthy of having that piece of paper, and then they become Caymanians, and they're competing with fifth generation Caymanians because the law cannot see them any differently. HR managers cannot see them any differently. We can't then put the blame of that situation at the foot of the government, the civil service, or anybody else. So
that's right.
Y'all need to wake up a little bit there.
Yeah, you see, Sandra, you're so right, because I believe, you see, I don't buy into this thing about foreigners taking over Cayman. It's not that. We are control of our destiny, okay? There is Caymanians in control of our island. It's up to us to hold fast. So that one issue on you saying about margins of convenience, this is something that we are seeing at a staggering rate. My office deals with naturalization. And let me just share this with you. We do a marriage check to see that the marriage is intact before we give someone our citizenship. That means we're giving them our passport. We have had cases where we have called a spouse, the Caymanian spouse, to ask them questions about their spouse, and they didn't remember their spouse's name. Okay, so
Unbelievable.
who do we blame for that? Okay, we as Caymanians have to take control of our decisions and stop blaming other people for things that we can control. So, our citizenship must be special, right? That person going to hold a Cayman passport and is going to represent us both here and abroad. I take that obligation very seriously. But then sometimes, I'm saying to our people out there, I'm speaking directly to you. Don't be persuaded to get into a margin of convenience for a few dollars. Stand firm, do not do it, and tell the person to get lost. Our citizenship is worth more than a few dollars.
Exactly. All right. So one question that has come in, I saw someone making some comments about A.L. Thompson's. Obviously, the deputy governor can't do anything about A.L. Thompson, so I'll pass those on to Mr. Alty himself. Someone says to please ask him if politicians are responsible for hiring, if they can give someone a job in the civil service. So this often comes up where people will say, oh, I've gone to my politician, I've gone to my MP for a job, and I've said it a million times, but perhaps you can lend a bit to this. Whose responsibility is it to hire, fire, promote, demote, whatever civil servants, and should or do politicians have any say in the process?
Right. So that's a good question, and I'm glad we're getting a chance to cover that. So the civil service terms and conditions, who gets hired and fired, under our Constitution, Section 55, it says that is the responsibility of the governor. The governor then delegates some of that responsibility to me as head of the civil service, and he delegates the rest of the responsibility for hiring and firing to chief officers. So from time to time, ministers, come to me and say, DG, one of my constituents came to me. They would like a job in the civil service. Here's their resume. But ministers are not allowed to decide who gets hired and fired. Now, of course, we will consult with ministers if we are making key decisions within the civil service, especially in their ministry. So I wouldn't appoint a chief officer in a ministry without discussing it with the minister. We want to make sure that it is going to be a good fit, and that people will work together for the betterment of our people. So we do speak with ministers from time to time, but at the end of the day, the decision is a civil service one. It's for myself, the governor, chief officers, as to who is hired and fired in the civil service.
Good. All right, folks. So hopefully that was crystal clear. Gabby says about doing research before interviews, the websites need to be updated frequently.
Good point.
Because if they ask you that in the test, who's the minister or deputy for that department, and you say the wrong thing, it's often because the web page hasn't been updated.
Fair point. So we have a program now of updating our websites, but there's always other ways of finding out that information. So, but Ms. Gabrielle, please don't give up. And if you want to have a chat with me, please contact me.
All right, folks. So we're wrapping up here. Romelia says that there's talk in the grapevine that you'll be retiring soon. Will your present deputy be offered this position? So no one has ever offered a position, or that's not how it should work. People have to apply for the position. Is that right?
That's correct. And I don't really have a deputy at the moment. I have the chief officer that I work more closest with is Ms. Gloria McField Nixon. She's sort of my chief officer in the portfolio of the civil service. But then I work with all of the chief officers and have great relationships with all of them. So yes, the Constitution says that the deputy governor must be a Caymanian, that they must have held a senior rank within the public service for a number of years. So when I do give my notice of retirement, there will be a recruitment process, and then the best Caymanian candidate will get the job.
So we've got a viewer here on WhatsApp says, I really do love France Manderson. Excellent first guest selection. I could listen to him all day, every day.
All right.
All right, folks. Thank you so much. Magdalene says, thanks for the comment, Mr. Manderson, for those people entering marriages of convenience. Romelia, thank you so much. you know, again, that lies with the spouse, that lies with the Caymanians. If you're accepting pay, and, you know, it's very difficult to prove those things. But if you're the person who is helping to bring down your own country, then you can't blame anybody else when the outcome is what it is. So
We
we have
have
talked
control of
about
that.
that enough on this program, and really it comes down to personal accountability. Shanley, thank you. So everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Still got well over 200 people. Miss Sylvia says, good to see the deputy governor on. Fairness has to be applied during the recruitment process as well. There needs to be a complaints commission if there are concerns.
And we have all of that. Yes.
I know that Miss Sylvia has applied to the Kays Foundation and has been unsuccessful. And there have been a lot of concerns which we have raised here about the hiring, promotion, and apparent nepotism within the Kays Foundation. So I would want you, Deputy Governor, to put that organization on your list of organizations that you need to look at very, very closely in terms of the hiring and retainment. I mean, I think even the chef is a non-Caymanian. I'm like, come on. These are Caymanian kids that are in this facility. They're used to Caymanian good cooking, hopefully, and some Caymanian food. Surely, as many qualified Caymanian cooks as we have, we could hire a Caymanian cook for that facility.
Right.
So there's a lot of concerns there.
Yeah, and not passing the buck, Sandra, but the Kays Foundation is not part of the civil service.
Right.
But I will certainly pass on those concerns to the relevant agency and make sure that we look into it. But I am with you. We have to give our people every opportunity. That's the law. You know, that's not something that, you know, we should do. It is what we must do. So let's do it.
Absolutely. France, thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you on the program today. To all of our listeners, thank you guys so much for making this our first inaugural day brew, as El Rey said, spelled BREW, nice cup of tea, on the radio. A complete success. We'll be tweaking it just a little bit, making sure that our time is right for the radio component of it. But France, I appreciate you being willing to come on. And of course, we look forward to having you on again soon.
Yeah. And I look forward to coming back. You can see, I'll try to show you my no silent victory sign.
Yes, good.
So
I
think I was able to impart some good knowledge here and some victories that we have had across the service. So could I have 2 minutes to just wrap up?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
So Sandra, again, thank you very much for having me, and to the listeners, thank you very much for the questions, the comments, and the suggestions. I take them all very seriously. I want to address them. We are not perfect. I am not perfect, but you know, we want to take the concerns of the people that we serve very seriously. Our critics, you know, we want to hear from you, and I don't defend the indefensible. If there's something that is going wrong in the civil service, I listened to you earlier, Sandra, when you said, you know, the word sorry can solve some issues sometimes, but it has to be genuine. So, you know, if we get it wrong, I will say that we are sorry, and we will do whatever we can to address the issue. You know, and there's been a question about, you know, did we get our vision right? You know, did we get our vision of being a world-class civil service right? And I think we did. And why, Sandra, is because I have total confidence in our people. That if we give our people the opportunity, they will be world-class. And I just want to give, you know, 2 examples of where we have been world-class in the civil service. The Department of Commerce and Investment was recently awarded a gold standard by the Investors in People. That is a coveted award around the world. So this civil service entity is now recognized as a gold leader in Investors in People. The portfolio of the civil service recently won People Management of the Year from a UK-based HR society. We went up against companies all over the UK, and we won. And finally, the Cayman Islands won Project Management of the Year for the establishment of our field hospital. We beat group of, again, UK companies, including Rolls-Royce. What that tells us, Sandra, is that our vision is correct. If we give our people opportunities, they will do great things. So this little country, this little civil service beat Rolls-Royce in a competition on project management. That is something that we should celebrate. You know, and I know people sort of make fun of our vision, but I take it very seriously. And that, again, because I have confidence in our people. And Sandra, just to thank you in closing for, you always say that you are the sort of fourth link of government, in that you shine a light on when things are not going well. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for what you do to make that happen in our island, and that having a free press is essential. That you can be there and say, shine a light on when things are not right. If it affects me, you always give me that opportunity to say, Sandra, okay, let me see what I can do about this. And I thank you for that. So congratulations on your new venture on the radio. I can see that it's been a pleasure to be here and to communicate with you and the people of the Cayman Islands, and I look forward to coming back again.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And of course, thank you to all of our listeners who make this Cayman's undisputed #1 talk show. Even before we were on radio, I'm going to share all the details of why I say that later on in the week when I'm permitted to do so. But trust me, I speak from a very informed position. So, Deputy Governor, again, we appreciate you. Thank you for coming on. We understand it's not an easy job. And oftentimes, people are keeping your foot to the fire. But we appreciate the transparency this morning, the honesty, and letting us know a lot of the positive things that have been happening in the civil service and what you guys are continuing to do.
Yes, thank you very much, and thanks to the listening audience. Thank you.
All right, my dear. All right, folks. So that's going to wrap it up for us. So just a reminder, we're back on tomorrow morning at 7:30. So we have to be very, very punctual when we hit that start button for the radio. Here, obviously, on social media, we can kind of go into a little bit of OT overtime. Not a problem if I have, appointments later on in the day. I'm always happy to do that. Some guests are so engaging, as Mr. Manderson was this morning, that you guys just want to keep talking. I totally get it. Totally understand it. So don't forget, BOBO 89.1, folks, is where you can tune in to the live broadcast every single day now, Monday through Friday. And we're going to be tweaking the intro and the outro just a little bit more. But of course, I had to drop the new ones this morning for you guys, and you'll see the big billboards all over the island, making sure that everybody knows that we're here on the radio. Spread the word around. If you've got a granny and she's getting bored in the mornings, listening to the CMO or to nothing at all, put it on that little dial, fine tune it for her. 89.1, so she can tune in right here to the Cold Hard Truth. So we've got a lot going on this week. A lot of things that we want to talk about. Hopefully tomorrow we'll have some time to discuss the immigration letter, which was causing a bit of a stir in the community last week. We did publish the letter, and I think it's time that we delved in and talk about a bit about that. So we'll make some time for that on tomorrow's program. Of course, we want to talk about some of the celebrity stuff with Will Smith and Chris Rock that happened in the U.S. I kind of have mixed feelings about it, to be honest. So let's chat about it tomorrow. We'll delve into that one. So again, folks, have a fabulous day, and we'll see you in the morning at 7:30.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on BOBO 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Find us on Facebook and YouTube for the latest show episodes, including special community interviews and much more. Follow Cayman Morrow Road on Facebook and YouTube for all your community happenings.